Welcome, y'all, to the first episode of Jeremiah the Podcast. I want to thank y'all so much right now for listening to this, and do me a huge favor. Please talk about it with your friends, family, your hairdresser, everybody. Make sure you share this on all social media that you can. Please bring awareness to this podcast so we can help support the amazing people that we get to listen to on this podcast. And we're talking about amazing people. Let's go ahead and talk about Caine Wilkes. He's the guy that we are talking about today, that we heard from today. He is the premier United States weightlifter right now. He is one of the few Americans in weightlifting history to hit a 500-pound clean and jerk. And he is one of 8 Americans to hit a 400-kilogram total. What he is doing on the platform is stupid. It's awesome. Also, outside of weightlifting, he is a graphic design artist. He has his own company called Quiet Guy Graphics. You can find that at quietguygraphics.com or on Instagram at quietguygraphics. Check out his work. It's phenomenal. He is truly an artist. And let's go ahead and transition into a mini plug for what he does. If you are looking for any sort of design or any sort of creative visual for your product or your service, he's where to go. In this day and age, you need visuals, you need designs, you need something to catch people's attention. You need that purple cow, if you know what I'm talking about. Well, Caine is your guy. He will work relentlessly to make sure your design is exactly what you want. He is wonderful to communicate with, and he did a fantastic job on my own design for my music project that I'm releasing in July called Jeremiah the Gentleman. Stay tuned for that, but I've been getting a lot of good reviews from what he did on my bow tie, my design, and I am very, very pleased to work with him. Make sure you check him out again at quietguygraphics.com or at Instagram, and also check out his own Instagram, his own weightlifting at The Dragon Wilkes. Fantastic guy, fantastic interview. I also want to make sure you are aware of the next upcoming podcast, one with my friend Colton Beasley, another with Matt Bergeron, another with Coach Chris Wilkes. Yep, Chris Wilkes, Coach Wilkes, Caine's pop. And then one very special to me, my mentor, my boss, Jason Winley. Make sure you check out all these podcasts that are being released alongside this one, and enjoy, y'all. Without further ado, we have Caine Wilkes. And away we go.
We talked about it yesterday a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we had a little free time, but we were both kind of tired.
Oh, gosh.
But the new Guardians of the Galaxy came out.
Have you seen that yet?
So I haven't.
Oh.
Not the new one.
Yeah. Have you seen the old one?
I saw the first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge Marvel fan, so.
Oh, over DC?
Definitely, yeah.
Oh, wait. Who is your favorite?
At least, easy enough to say the movies. I prefer the Marvel over DC.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely
Okay, yeah.
I'm willing to give them a shot,
Yeah.
as they make movies, but last couple haven't been terrific.
Yeah, they've been pretty dark.
Yeah.
And nothing wrong with a little dark, but man, 3 hours of just sadness or this low light.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite comic book character?
The Hulk.
Okay.
That kind of started in high school. I had kind of this bushy haircut. Because my hair doesn't really grow long.
Yeah.
At first, it kind of just grows out.
A little fro action?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It doesn't curl or anything. It just...
Well, you have a natural wave to it, so
yeah,
you must
It takes about... you have to basically get it to ponytail length for it to start to wave. But at first, it's like a giant bowl.
Okay.
So did you ever see Lou Ferrigno in the 70s?
Yes.
Incredible Hulk?
Yes.
It was
where he painted
that
himself green, and he was just a massive bodybuilder.
His hair though, that was basically my hair.
Okay.
So when I was in high school with that haircut,
a
lot of kids, some of the older guys that knew the show, they would say I looked like Lou Ferrigno. And I was weightlifting at that time, so it kind of worked out. So I think it started there. that I had an interest for the Hulk, and then like the more I looked into it, the more the whole anti-hero story is just
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Can't control his own strength, and or he can only access his strength through anger, and like that doesn't teach anybody good morals.
Yeah.
If you want to beat bad guys, just get ferociously angry.
Just get really angry.
Yeah, that's not always the solve of your problems. Yeah, you must have you've had a lot of nicknames apparently.
I have.
I've heard of what was the funny one? I can't remember. It was one between apparently Hulk and Dragon. There's like a what was it?
Was it Panda?
Yeah, Panda. Oh man, it'd be so perfect right now to have Panda with Designer song, like Panda, and that's your like walk up song.
Yeah, that'd be pretty funny actually.
That was one you wanted to easily shed, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one lasted like literally just maybe a couple weeks.
Oh, okay.
Like a friend of ours at our gym started to call me that. He would give people nicknames, and he started to call me Panda, and I have no idea why he called me that. But
gosh,
there was just a running workout that I was doing because I was CrossFitting at that point.
Gotcha. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, healing up my back, and it was a running workout, and I'm already CrossFitting, so I'm already in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Then you add running to it, and I'm in an even worse mood.
Oh no, yeah.
And I'm like, whatever. I don't remember what the running was paired with, but I finish whatever I'm doing in there, and go out for the run. And he's there cheering people on, and he goes, "Let's go, Panda!" And I just stop and turn like a 180 to him, and I'm like, Matt,
yeah.
Can we think of something better than Panda?
That's when you turn to Kung Fu Panda and you chop that down. You're like,
that
nope.
was like borderline like hulking out on him. No. But yeah, he was just like, oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So when I came back from the run, he said, "Good work, Dragon."
Oh, there we go.
Which I was already in a bad mood, so when I heard Dragon, I was like, wow, that's not much better.
Yeah. Or was
but it stuck.
Was it just saying that because you were dragging behind a little bit? Because that's I totally I could relate to that one.
Yeah.
Has Emily seen Guardians of the Galaxy, or is she as into Marvel as you?
She is into Marvel. She hasn't seen. There's like, how many movies are out now?
Too many to count for and to pay for. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like maybe one or two that I haven't seen. There's like one that I know I haven't seen Winter Soldier.
Oh, yeah, me neither. Have you seen Civil War though?
I have seen Civil War.
Yeah. So we pretty much know the secret to Winter Soldier by Civil War. Yeah.
But she hasn't seen a lot of the earlier movies, like, ones here and there.
Yeah.
Like, I think she's only seen the first Iron Man. She hasn't seen 2 and 3.
Okay, I'm with her on that one. Yeah.
And Ant-Man she hasn't seen.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that one.
And I think she hasn't seen Winter Soldier, but she hasn't seen Civil War either.
Okay. Well, perfect Netflix tonight. Got
it.
Yeah.
And like some of the newer movies, like I haven't seen Doctor Strange, but that just came out a few months ago. So.
Well, that sets up Thor Ragnarok, and then I also, being a Hulk fan, you got to see Ragnarok, the Thor's movie.
Oh, that's right. He's in. Yeah.
They're like in a cage battle.
I haven't seen I think the trailer just came out, and I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It's pretty good. What about so you and Emily? When did y'all officially start dating?
Officially, February of last year, 2016.
Man.
So
over a year now.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so what have you learned for dating Emily for over a year? What to be a good boyfriend? What should you do?
Whew, that's a tough question.
Well, be cute.
There's a lot to do.
Oh yeah, it's basically what not to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot more what not to do when you're in a relationship.
I think for any good relationship, it's just being honest with each other.
Ooh, yeah.
And communication.
Yeah.
Which we've obviously. I feel like anyone can say this. Like, up to that point, we hadn't been in very good relationships.
Yeah.
But if it was a good relationship, you'd still be in it anyway. So that's kind of like, everyone can kind of say that to a point.
Right.
So I think we both had to learn, like, a little bit about, like, being open and being honest with each other and communication.
Yeah.
Like, not bottling up things.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Things like that.
Or not personifying your problems with that person or something like that. Like when something's going wrong with you, you kind of you tend to take it out on the person that's closest to you.
Definitely.
And also being the person taking it, you have to realize that's probably not about me. It's probably something with them.
Yeah, it's definitely when, when one of us is upset, it's kind of like, how can I help? Not, and if they, if I lash out at her, she lashes out at me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's hopefully we learn.
Yeah.
It might take a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's learning. Maybe it's not me necessarily. What's wrong? What's up with them, and how can I help that out?
Yeah. Patience is a virtue, but it's
patience
tough.
is
sometimes
tough.
Yeah.
She appreciates my patience.
Awesome.
But,
yeah.
I mean, for as patient as I can be, I got my weekdays.
Yeah. Yeah. When both people are going through a struggle, then it's just like, okay, we gotta refresh, restart the computer a little bit.
Yeah.
So what's this moose painting I've heard about? Is this a cute Caine moment?
This is a cute
Hashtag cute Caine. Here we go.
Yeah. If that starts trending.
Yeah.
So yeah, when we were dating, we started dating in February. Nationals were in May that year. And we were doing a long distance relationship at first, obviously, because I'm in North Carolina and she was in California.
Okay.
And so she really liked, the creative side of me and everything. I do art and write a little bit on the side and everything. So she always appreciated that and everything. So I told her, I'll draw you something.
Nice.
And so we're talking about this like over Skype.
Yeah.
So leading up to nationals, I'm like, her favorite animal is a wolf.
Okay.
So I'm going to paint her a wolf. I did a watercolor wolf, and I wanted to surprise her. So I was telling her, I'm working on something. I'm working on a painting. And she's like, oh, what is it? I'm like, it's a moose, which is my favorite animal.
Oh, okay, there you go.
She likes otters and wolves. I like mooses. Moose. Meese.
Yeah.
I like moose and dragons.
Or mooses. Mooses are awesome too.
Mooses. I like Rocky and Bullwinkle. No.
Oh yeah.
Well, I do. But
Yeah. Well, that was a great show. Yeah.
Yeah.
That and the was it the Mountie at that time? Did they go back to back?
Yeah. Dudley Do Right.
Dudley Do Right. I was trying to remember this for the longest time, and I just can't Google it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I told her I was drawing a moose, and she's like, "Oh, cool! Can I see like any progress pictures or anything?" And I was like, "No, not yet." And I kept like playing it off like I'm not very happy with it. I might just have to like restart or something. I don't want you to see it until it's like looking halfway decent.
Yeah.
And I feel in hindsight, I kind of feel a little bad about it because she's like thinking, "Oh my goodness," he's like, I get. With weightlifting and everything, I get sidetracked. Yeah. So I'm not always consistently working on art or writing or whatever I'm doing. And so she's like happy that I'm doing something, painting something.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh my goodness, he's being so like self-critical. Like, what can I do to help him out?
Oh gosh.
Feeling bad for me and everything. So my plan was to like, tell her how bad of a moose painting it was. And then come to nationals and be like, look at this terrible painting. And
good. Yeah.
But I couldn't wait that long because of how like she was like a little torn up about it.
Yeah, this is a long con you're doing right now. Yeah.
And I literally, this was only a couple weeks long. Like I was doing it like leading up to nationals. Like I was finishing up like a day or two before nationals with the painting. So I finally like we're on Skype.
Yep.
And, she's talking about like how, I'd like to see, it's going to be great no matter what and everything. And I'm like, it just looks nothing like a moose. So I hold up the finished drawing for her of a wolf. And I'm like, does that look anything like a moose to you?
Yeah.
At which she just smiles.
Aw.
And then she goes, no, it's a terrible moose.
Yeah. This was definitely a story that she wanted me to get out of you. And
she did?
Yeah. So she clearly loved the moose.
She did, yeah.
Why is a moose your favorite animal?
It goes back before people said I looked like the Hulk.
Is this another nickname?
It is another nickname.
Okay, 4 nicknames now. Keeping count at home.
So with the moose, I had that one growing up when I was very young. Mm-hmm. I was always very, I was always the thick one of the family. So
body-wise or personality?
I hope body-wise.
Yeah, okay. Just kidding.
Now you're making me worry, and I need to talk to my
Yeah,
parents.
yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, your parents calling you Moose. Yeah, they're just giving you subtle hints that you find out later in life with therapy.
So yeah, I just because I was very thick and solid when growing up.
Gotcha.
They called me Moose, and it worked out because around that time, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I'll just get that out there.
Okay.
I apologize to anyone who's listening.
We'll forgive you.
Okay.
Yeah. Go Steelers.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. This ends the podcast.
Yeah. Well, it was nice talking to you, Caine. Yeah.
But being a Cowboys fan and Daryl Johnston, their fullback, was like, the guy I love, and his nickname was Moose.
Yep.
So it just worked out perfectly, growing up and everything. But so that's kind of how it went, and everyone would get me little like stuffed animal mooses growing up and everything, so it just stuck. And I still, love mooses.
And you were definitely into Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Definitely into Rocky and Bullwinkle, which aided the moose interest.
Added on. Was football your first sport, or did you play any sports before weightlifting?
Yeah, I growing up, I dabbled in a couple sports. I played soccer.
Interesting.
For just a couple years, like
cardio.
For a couple years when I was super young and didn't know any better.
You were naive at that age. It's okay. Yeah.
And then basically, as when I was old enough to play rec league football, I started playing that, and that was pretty much what I played up until I started to weightlift.
Okay.
Which was 7th grade was the first time I got into weightlifting.
Yeah.
And we started doing a little bit of powerlifting, but shortly after that, found Olympic weightlifting. And I did it to condition for football.
Yep.
But in 9th grade, after 9th grade, I decided to stop playing football and just focus on weightlifting. I did wrestle a couple years.
Oh, hey. So the singlet started early.
The singlet started early.
There you go.
6th grade, 6th and 7th grade.
Okay.
I wrestled. And so like for wrestling, I think it was just 7th and 8th grade.
Yeah.
We're like officially on the wrestling team. So in 6th grade, I was just doing the wrestling club.
Yeah.
And I just worked out with
in practice.
Yeah. But in those 2 years, I competed 5 times in tournaments.
Yeah.
And I won 3 medals out of those 5. Yeah.
Wow. Hey, not too bad. In another life, you'd be at Raw right now.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
I never won a single match though.
Wait. So what happened? No one was big enough for you?
There was just I was just always in that oddball weight class.
Yeah.
Because I was never like, growing up, I wasn't the super heavy that I am now.
Oh, okay.
But I was just always in that oddball weight class and age group where like there was only one other guy. So
you were just thick enough.
I would just, it's always double elimination. So I'd go out there and lose twice and get a silver medal.
Hey, yeah. That's what I like about these like local weightlifting meets. I'm like, if you like most of the time, there's probably most 3 people in your weight class, unless you're like in a very popular one most of the time. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you just go out there, first weightlifting meet, you get a medal.
Yeah.
And it's very encouraging to come back again.
It is.
What about did painting start around that time or drawing? When was the first time you started picking up a pen and pad?
So it was always a thing I would do.
Yeah.
Like I just doodled when I was younger.
What were your doodles of?
Anything.
Yeah, okay. You didn't have a focus or anything? You weren't like eyes or animals or people?
I guess if anything, people would probably be the preference, or animals. I never was into like landscapes or anything like that. So it was mostly like objects or people.
Okay.
And I would do that as early back as I can remember. Like you can look at like old homework assignments from when I was like 5 or 6, and like I do the work, but like all along the borders of the paper would be like just doodles of anything and everything. And I would do that. I did that throughout high school, like would just taking notes. Again, you can look at the papers, notes. I'd have notes.
Yeah.
And then I'd have doodles all over the side, just like keeping my hand busy or whatever.
You just have to constantly be moving. Yeah. I'm a fidgeter, so I have to have something. Like those spinning wheels.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten one yet, but that's just like drawing my attention so hard. Or the cube that has all the buttons and swirls.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I forget what it's called.
I don't even know. But if y'all know, y'all feel free to let us know. Yeah. What about what kind of medium do you draw with? You pencil and pad, or you paints?
I do a lot of different things. I prefer whatever I can hold with my hand, like directly.
Yeah.
So I prefer drawing over painting.
Gotcha.
Just because with painting, like the brush,
yeah.
it's just a little further back, so it's a little weirder to me. But like anything I can hold like a pencil. So, of course, pencil and graphite.
Yeah.
But then like charcoal, pastels, I like all of those. And like I said, I'm not as comfortable painting. Like it doesn't feel quite as easy as like doodling. But I have done a lot of painting and everything to where I'm pretty comfortable with it. But I keep it mostly 2D work.
Okay.
I'm terrible at any sort of like 3D work.
I was about to say, yeah. Did you paint the moose or did you hand draw it?
So
or wolf. Let's say wolf.
The wolf. Yeah. I was like, I'm getting confused now for my own stories. So with the wolf, it was a watercolor.
Oh, okay.
So I sketched it out with pencil and then went on top with the watercolor. And actually, watercolor, I hadn't done just a pure watercolor painting in a while. And that was actually fun because I could take like a very fine point paintbrush and as long as I didn't dilute it too much, you could end up pretty much kind of drawing. And I did that for like a lot of the wolf. And then, a lot of the background did more of the kind of just broad water strokes and everything that you usually see with watercolors.
Man, Emily must be special. You did background. You did scenery for her.
It wasn't scenery.
Oh, okay.
It was just colors.
Oh, okay.
Now I feel bad. No.
Oh, yeah. You still like her. You still like her a lot. Yeah. What about you helped me out a lot with my design, and I'm loving it loving it very much. I've received a lot of compliments on it, and so I'm really excited to really put it in practical use with my upcoming projects and all that.
Awesome.
When you're making these projects or making these pieces of art, do you get lost in it for hours? Like, do you lose yourself, or is this something you're able to? I don't know. Yeah. Do you lose yourself in your work?
I mean, with more of like the fine art stuff, you can pretty easily kind of get lost in it. Like you don't realize you just spent 4 hours over, a drawing or anything like that.
Yeah.
With the graphic design stuff, since you're like drawing for a purpose, I guess, or someone else's idea kind of thing, like putting that to fruition, it is a little easier to be like much more task oriented and very much like work on this and that. Sometimes it depends on what the person wants and if they know what they want. Like working with you had a pretty straightforward idea. Like you wanted the bow tie, you wanted the name, and pretty straightforward. Yeah. I've had some people who are just like, I don't know exactly what I want.
Yeah.
This is the kind of logo that I like. I like something minimalistic, or I want something a little like throwback to Art Deco or something like that, which are both logos that I've done.
Yeah, I would say like you have a wide range of styles with your logos.
Yeah, and it's so when it's a little broader like that, the whole creation process is a little more of like trying to figure it out. So I think you can get a little more lost in that process. But most of the time, people know what they want, and also it's pretty like straightforward.
Okay.
And working from the computer, like on Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, and Photoshop and things like that. It's a different medium for me. Like, I know how to use it, but it's just
It's very tech oriented.
Yeah. So.
What about how do you transfer your drawings from? Do you draw like on an electronic device and then just upload it, or are you able to scan it, or how do you? That blows my mind. That's the one thing I see all these people like draw amazing pieces of art, and then it's all of a sudden digitized, and I'm like, wait, how is it a JPEG now?
Yeah, it's I've done it different ways. Like sometimes I'll scan it onto there.
Yeah.
And what I've been doing lately more often, I used to do like Illustrator has this live trace feature.
Okay, yeah.
That basically takes your image and turns it into a black and white vector image.
Okay.
And a vector image, I may have explained this to you in talking, but a vector image, for those of y'all that don't know.
Thank you. Education moment, yeah.
Yeah. Vector uses lines and graphs instead of pixels to like draw out its content. So basically what a vector does that's important is that you can blow it up to any size and it'll still be just as crisp as of a line as before. Whereas with a pixel JPEG image, when you blow it up to a certain size, you get that kind of pixelated squared dots and everywhere.
The more you know.
The more you know.
Yeah.
So they have a live trace, which basically converts it straight over to a vector.
Okay.
And I used to use that more often, but now I have a little bit more freedom to like, and I'm a little more, knowledgeable of the program. Mm-hmm. So I'll still scan it or take a picture of it and put it on the computer, and then I'll trace over it how I want it, which gives me a little bit more freedom to deviate from the original image and everything. That's what I did with your bow tie, was tracing it on there, and I think it worked out all right.
Must say it was a pretty fly bow tie from Quiet Guy. How'd you come up with the name Quiet Guy?
So this goes back a long time ago, back to my college days.
Okay. Where'd you go to school?
Old Dominion University, up in Norfolk, Virginia.
Oh, okay.
They have a pretty good basketball team, but other than that, no one really knows them.
Okay.
But
What'd you study there?
Art and English. I was a double major.
Man, full course load. Because being an art student, it takes a lot more time than like studying books or studying literature. You have to be a practitioner.
Yeah, and also, the course itself, like the courses themselves are like same number of credit hours. Mm-hmm. Like usually classes are three credits or whatever, and that usually means that your class is 3 hours a week.
Yeah. But
with art classes, they're usually double that. They're 6 hours a week, but you get the same amount of credits for it.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So you're basically you're at school twice as often, and you still have at least for me. I'm sure there are some like speed demons in art that can get everything done in class, but I would always have to be working from home too. So it was a lot of effort, a lot of work.
When you're working on your art, are you able to get out of yourself a little? Because like when I do music a little bit, or if I ever try to sketch anything, I struggle. I'm like, oh, this could be better. Like I need to tweak this a little bit. Like, are you able to roll with what may work and may not work, or experiment a little bit, or?
Yeah, I think. I definitely like to experiment. I did that a lot in college with some of my work. I did a series of weightlifting images, and varying with different styles and stuff. So the first one I did was very straightforward, just a pencil drawing, as realistic as possible of Nord Szymanski, who's a lifter from the 1940s, 50s, and 60s.
Okay.
If no one knows him, look him up.
Yeah.
He's one of the greats, and I believe he was voted as one of the best. He was the greatest athlete. I think he was nominated and won the greatest athlete of the 1900s award or something like that. He's won 4 Olympic medals.
Gosh.
And was internationally competitive for 3 decades.
And what weight class was he?
He was mostly a super heavy.
Okay.
There was a point where he was competing at, I think, the 110 class or 100 class, whatever weight class they had.
Yeah, they changed it since then.
Yeah, But most of the time he was 110 plus or 100 plus.
Was he also one that's totaled over 400?
No, he did not.
Okay.
I probably couldn't name them all if I
Oh yeah,
wanted
'cause
to.
I know you're one of the 8 now, right? I believe so. One
Yeah,
of the 8 or 7.
I think it's 8
Yeah.
altogether, but again, I couldn't name them all off the top of my
Yeah.
head.
Yeah. You just do it. You don't have to study it right now. Yeah. Wait till you decide to go back and coach or just be a history teacher at some school.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started with a Norb Szymanski drawing, very like old school, just pencil drawing, and then worked up to trying to be more expressive with like colors and styles and everything, and learned a lot from it. And yeah, I do like to do that. There was another weightlifting piece I did where I like completely covered it was a big piece. I think it was like 3 feet by 4 feet.
Wow.
Drawing where I first covered the entire piece of paper with torn up pieces of paper and stained of old workout sheets. Like took sheets of paper from like my old log book.
Yeah.
And put them on there, and then drew on top of that.
And it imposed itself onto the.
Yeah. So I basically just glued those sheets of paper onto it.
Yeah.
And then drew a couple weightlifting images on top of that.
You sacrificed your training for this.
I did.
Yeah, your logs.
It was probably training from like 10 years ago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Hopefully I don't need
Yeah.
to know much about that training anymore. But
Progressed a little bit since then.
yeah, hopefully.
And you mentioning a story coming along with Quiet Guy Graphics.
Oh,
the
right.
name, yeah. Besides being a quiet guy, I believe you are a very intellectual person, sort of introverted, if you would say.
Yeah, I definitely consider myself introverted.
Is that kind of where you stemmed, or where did this come from?
Yeah, it's basically I was out with a friend and at college having lunch, and we just happened to meet this guy who had his own little business. I think it was clothing and apparel that he was just starting. He was down the street, and he mentioned if I ever wanted to check it out or anything. And he made note when I had met him.
Yeah.
He's like, "You're kind of a quiet guy," and so a couple weeks later, I don't know what led me to do it, but I went and visited his little shop and everything, and just was like, "Hey, man, I saw you a couple weeks ago," and he was like, "Oh yeah, you were the quiet one." So that whole like the quiet one stuck with me for a while.
Yeah.
And then when I started to think about, kind of branding my, freelance graphic design work.
Yeah.
I thought of quiet one, went to quiet guy just because it sounded better with the graphics.
The alliteration just rolls a little bit better.
So.
What about the idea with the gentleman that's in it, or the guy that's in it? Why'd you go with that style, that look?
Are you talking about the original logo?
The one that's, I think it's on your Instagram. There's a guy it looks like a guy, I guess a guy from the 50s or something. Okay, that might be the original logo.
Yeah, that was the original logo. And that was basically just because that was the image I had.
Oh, okay. It just came to mind when you said quiet guy.
Just came to mind. I wanted a guy that was kind of like, saying shush.
Yeah. You could see that on one of those old school posters, like, please be quiet.
Yeah.
Before the movie.
And that was mainly because that was the quick idea I had, and it was easy to do, easy enough to do. So I started with that, but recently, I think right before you contacted me about your logo, I redid the Quiet Guy Graphics logo. So if you look now on like my website or Instagram or wherever, it's now kind of like a slightly silhouetted face that is supposed to be obviously me.
Okay. Oh, it is.
Has
yeah,
like
I do
glasses and a beard.
Yeah.
And a ponytail on the side.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just redid that one. I like it a lot more.
Oh, okay. Is it just because you like seeing yourself? You're a handsome man.
Because
so
I'm extremely vain.
Yeah,
No.
Exactly.
The logo itself is kind of quirky and little. It's fun.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot more to represent, that sort of thing.
I totally agree. I love that. I love kind of like the sketch personality face designs. Like Jason Mraz had his on We Dance, We Sing, We Dance, We Steal Things. Like I guess he did it, or someone did like a small little face of himself. Yeah. And there's also an artist out there, Nash, has like a little bit of himself with his glasses and his like hair come over and stuff like that. So you're basically just up there in the ranks of all these big artists.
Right up there.
Yeah, just hitting the artistic scene. Yeah,
still need a couple more followers on Instagram, and I'll be right there with Mr. A to Z.
Oh man! Oh, ooh, go geek in the pink right here. I didn't realize. I was wondering. I was like, am I throwing this out there? Is anybody gonna know who I'm talking about? Oh man, who do you listen to? You must listen to Jason Mraz.
I listen to a lot of things. I mean, yeah, Jason Mraz. I like him.
Oh yeah.
Definitely, especially a lot of his old school stuff.
Oh yeah.
But I'll listen to a lot of different things. My general rule is I don't like a lot of cussing.
Yeah.
A little bit I can probably accept and deal with.
It's so unlike you in this interview. There's a lot of bleeps I'm gonna have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my other rule is I don't like a lot of screaming.
Yeah.
So again, it's kind of subjective.
Yeah.
Because there are some songs that I like to work out to that might cuss more than others or might shout more than others. But as long as it's in that area, I'm usually cool with it. Unless it's very pop music, then I'm usually
just a little too dancey for me right now.
Yeah.
Also, I find that if I have to be more hyped than the song. Like if it's a calming song, it helps me in between my working sets, my rest. Mm-hmm. But if it's hyped the whole time, I don't ever come down, and so I'm I get my heart rate up, my energy up before the lift, and then when I come to sit down and recover and readjust, I'm still amped because that song's driving my heartbeat. So
yeah, that's actually a good point.
Yeah.
I've also noticed that having a CrossFit gym and also a weightlifting team, I've noticed that people are a lot pickier when they're CrossFitting.
Yeah.
Versus weightlifting. And people can be just as picky with weightlifting, but I was talking to someone just today about the whole paradox of, in a CrossFit gym, you usually have people complaining about how we listen to the same 10 songs over and over again. But if you play a different song, then they'll complain about it not being no, change it back.
Yeah.
This is bad.
Being too conservative and not wanting to be conservative that battle. Where should we go from here? Well, we get so accustomed to what we have now that we kind of afraid of change to a certain degree. That's always a common trope in many different things.
Yeah, very true.
One thing I can't work out to is country. I'm cool with it. I think beach is the perfect place. Give me some Zach Brown band while I'm sitting on the beach, get my toes in the water. But I can't do it to lift.
I can't, I don't listen to country a lot while training.
Okay.
But I can listen to it.
Oh yeah.
I'm usually of the mindset of, and I tell people this all the time, and it annoys them so much. But I'll usually tell them you should be able to train to anything.
Yep.
Because when you're at that competition, 9 times out of 10, unless it's a Attitude Nation meet or something like that.
Oh yeah, you don't have a walk-up song.
Yeah, you don't have any music playing, so you're not going to be hyped up for that lift through music. So you shouldn't need that there. So just to bring that point home, because usually I don't care what people listen to, but if someone starts saying I need my song, then I start to play Adele for them or something like that. And I've trained to Adele.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not talking Rolling in the Deep Adele.
Oh, there's Hello.
Hello, someone like you kind of Adele.
Oh, it really speaks to your soul.
Yeah. Oh. I'm usually crying mid-lift, but I get the lift done.
You're yelling through tears. Yeah. The beer's just getting a little heavier and soaking into it. You have to re-chalk after each lift even more because it's now it's a puddle of mush in your hands.
I'm just sweating.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, I can't. One thing we just got to always avoid is extremes or dependency of certain things. I can't do something without X. And so especially with music, that's something easy just to fix. Don't get hooked on that.
Definitely.
And even when I'm about to either go for a PR squat or something like that, I'll warm up maybe with headphones if I have headphones or if I am at a gym where I use headphones or something like that. But when it comes to the work, I take the headphones out. I almost want quiet. I just
Yeah, I very rarely will use my headphones while training.
Yeah.
I'll bring them to a competition, usually so I can like chill in between snatch and clean and jerk.
Yeah.
But whereas a lot of people will, usually a lot of people when they bring their headphones to meets, they want to listen to something that's going to pump them up.
Oh yeah.
And I usually feel like I'm already pumped up, so I need to find something to like calm me down. So I'm usually listening to like quiet folksy tunes or something like that.
Yeah.
Or
some Mumford and Sons or something like that.
Yeah,
just going
some
on.
quiet stuff like Avett Brothers and who else? I don't know. A lot of
some
Americana like newer country kind of stuff and folksy stuff like that.
Yeah. I'll say like Lose Yourself is a common one. I know a lot of people love that one. It has a good rhythm. And then any sort of like Juicy J or Migos, that'll be fire. But I can't do it, guys. I can't even. Okay, one thing that blows me about you and a lot of other lifters, blows my mind about you and a bunch of other lifters, is that y'all yell before you lift. I don't know if I'm just, my heart rate is so high, or if I don't know if I'm just not that strong of an internal person yet. But if I yell before a lift, I'm immediately tired. I'm like, put me to bed. I'm gonna lay on the platform for a little bit because I can't handle that. I have to. If people watch me lift, my mouth is open. I'm like screaming with my eyes. And if it's a really like a PR lift, I might scream during the lift a little bit or after. But man, you don't feel tired after your scream? Like
no, I mean it's something you kind of have to. You do have to control it.
Tame the dragon.
Yeah, I save it for the big lifts because I probably if I like worked up and yelled every lift, I would probably be tired by the time I got to the big lifts. But yeah, it doesn't wear me out too much. Mm-hmm. What I like to do about it, because I mean, some people will do it to like kind of get aggressive about it. I like it because it helps me kind of clear my head a little bit.
Nice.
People will find whatever works for them to kind of clear their head or get, in the zone or in the moment. And for me, when I got back into weightlifting after my back injury,
when was that?
6 years ago.
Yeah.
I had surgery in 2009. It took me till like late 2011 to get back to a national event.
Okay.
But when I got back into lifting from that, I always would yell. Beforehand, I was a pretty quiet lifter. I was a quiet guy.
Hey.
Quiet Guy Graphics.
Follow some
Let's
Instagram.
get that plug in real quick.
Oh, yeah. Follow all the social medias. Are you on Twitter or anything like that, too?
I have a Twitter account.
But do you even... I'm not a Twitter person.
The only thing I use it for is to share my Instagram posts.
I have a Facebook page, and that's all I do. I'm just like, oh, okay, I'll add that to where I'm sending it.
Like on Facebook, I'll kind of browse a lot.
Yeah.
And I'll like people's posts and stuff. I'll spend time like that, but most of my like Facebook posts are just sharing my Instagram posts too.
I've never been on Twitter, but from what I could tell, they're kind of mean. They're kind of mean people.
They are a little mean.
And so like Instagram, like there's a few people like the Instagram coaches that you see every now and then, but I've never had one. But I'd say like, well, they're pretty nice. People are pretty encourageable. There's no dislike button, so you can't. Yeah. It's always nice.
Yeah, people are pretty nice, and it's very easy to. I think it's much easier to ignore them.
Yes.
Than it would be on Twitter.
Oh yeah. It's hard. Like on the search filter, I get the same people all over again. Anyways, like if I follow someone, I see less of their stuff than when I'm have them on the search menu. So I'm like, what's actually happening to your life? I have to go search. We're talking about your yell after your back injury.
Right. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know. It's just something that it helps me focus. It's kind of, I like to have a clear head. Mm-hmm. Going into it to where all I'm focused on is the lift. So when I go out there on the platform, that shout kind of helps remind me to like, hey, this is that moment. Helps me kind of clear my head, focus on the task at hand.
Yeah.
I kind of like it too because it, as far as like people watching goes, that shout kind of is a little bit of a snap to attention.
Hey, crowd pleaser right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so like, everyone goes from like just being a spectator to, they're watching you now and they're wanting you to do it too.
Yeah.
At least that's how it goes in my head. Don't tell me anything different.
Yeah, it's exactly like that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with the weights you're lifting, you want people to look at you. With me, I'm like, what's that over there? Quick snatch. And then, yeah, done. Yeah.
So, it's that basically is the idea behind it.
Yeah.
That shouting.
Have you? You also wear your glasses on the platform.
I do.
Have you ever thought going like Kareem Abdul style and going goggles, or do you have to get poked in the eye for that first? Like,
I did.
Yeah.
I did use goggles playing football at one point.
Wow. Now, I'm sure that's an attractive look.
Yeah. It's super attractive.
Yeah. I'm sure Emily wants you to bring those back. Yeah.
We've talked about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then quickly dismissed the idea.
Yeah. Nope. Not happening.
No.
Yeah.
But I have not thought about the goggles. I do have a lot of people ask me how I keep them on for
Oh yeah.
For something as quick and explosive and so many direction changes in 1 second as a snatch or a clean and jerk. And I don't know. I've just most of the glasses I've worn, I haven't had a problem. I say most of them because there was a point that I did have glasses that were flying off.
Okay.
This was probably back in 2007 and 8.
And that's the brand weightlifters need to avoid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you the brand.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure these are Randy Jackson's.
Hey.
So that's a
good
Dragon
lift, dog.
Seal of approval.
Good lift, dog.
Yeah.
Man.
But yeah, I would have trouble with those glasses. So for about a year and a half, I would not lift with my glasses.
And no contacts.
No contacts. I tried contacts and it was a rough week.
It's just weird. Is it weird poking your eyeball?
Yeah.
You're doing everything your body's telling you not to do. Yeah.
I'm surprised that's even a question we have to ask. Is
Yeah.
it a weird thing?
Yeah, it should be up there with the magic tricks. You see the guys stick a hook or something through their nose or their mouth, putting a contact in your eyeball
Right.
without blinking. I used to, when I got my contacts when I was really young, I used to have to be held. My sister was an angel. Well, it was a torturous angel. She would be, I would have to lay on the bed kicking and screaming, her elbows or knees on my arms. I'm so I can't touch my face. And she's over there hovering over me, keep holding my head by my hair and sticking the contact in my, I don't know how she had the patience, but she got it,
Wow. Yeah. I couldn't do that.
Yeah. give more perspective on why you're screaming. What's your best total for the people that don't know? A competition total. What's your best competition total?
Best competition total is 416 kilograms.
Okay.
I did that at Nationals in 2015.
Where does that fall in the best overall total? It's kind of up there.
I think so. By my count, and I don't know how true this is.
Yeah.
I think it's the second highest overall total.
Okay.
Of any lifter. Shane Hammond.
Yeah, USA lifter.
Yeah. Shane Hammond holds a 430 total.
Okay.
And then the highest total I can find aside from that is Mario Martinez, who did a 415 total.
Oh, wow.
So the 416, I think, beats that.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, and if anyone knows better, please correct me. Because I'm not trying to falsify information or anything. Now, Mario, his best lifts out are better than my best lifts. I just don't think he did it at the same meets.
Yeah.
Together.
What are your best lifts, training or non-training? What's your best snatch, and then what's your best clean and jerk, training or non-training?
My best snatch and my best clean and jerk are the 416 that I did.
Hey.
So 186. Wow,
you picked the right time to do them.
Yeah.
You PR'd that day, or is it just tied?
Yeah, I'm the type of person that PRs at competitions.
Okay, I'm saying, yeah.
So,
I try to, at least. Right, yeah.
I mean, we all try to. It doesn't always work out. But if I'm going to PR, it's normally at a meet. So my best snatch is 186, which is about 410 pounds. And my best clean and jerk is 230, which is about 506, 507. So yeah, I've always have tended to bring my A game to meets
when it matters. Yeah.
It's and I think it comes from at an early age. My dad, who's my coach, he's always talked about that's when the numbers matter.
Yeah.
So we always go in with that sense of, we're going to do our best there. So I think it comes from that. Like the last time I PR'd my actual like best number in the gym was right before 2013 Nationals, which is the first time I won a national championship.
Wow.
So I think it was 6 or 8 weeks out.
Yeah.
I think I hit a 210 clean and jerk, which I think my best before then was 207.
Okay.
And maybe a couple weeks after that, I hit a 212 and a half because, we had the old school. Old school weights. So we went by 2.5 kilos. And then I went to Nationals and did a 216 clean and jerk.
Okay.
But like I said, I couldn't tell you the last time I had PR'd either my snatch or my clean and jerk in training.
Yeah.
There were some times where we'd go to lifting seminars, travel to gyms like we did at Body Shop Athletics. If you don't follow them, you should follow them.
Yeah, Body Shop Athletics.
While we're plugging
things.
things.
Body Shop Barbell is also our page. So.
Okay. I think I need to follow them.
Yeah. I'll send you a comment or something.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But when when we held those seminars and stuff, there were a couple times where I'd be feeling good and everything and be able to hit a new number.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's kind of like a mini competition where you're like,
oh,
you have spectators watching you and you just want to lift your best.
You got to, yeah.
You got the adrenaline going just as much as you would at a competition. In training, you don't have that spectator adrenaline pumping or anything. So for me, it's a lot tougher to do that. I get a lot out of like my adrenaline and the excitement of a meet and everything. So
and something about being in training, no matter if I've like prepped beforehand, I still feel beaten down when I'm trying to PR that day. But on competition, you have so much like adrenaline going, like it's just you feel like the bar's weightless almost. Yeah.
I always I used to joke about the bar being different or like on a platform.
I totally agree. Well, actually, I do use a different bar. I use like a wide bar for my training, just to make it a little bit tougher. That way, when I come, I have a little bit more whip, and it just feels beautiful.
Yeah, and I'll even now, like I use decent bars. I used to not use decent bars. So like you, the competition bar would be like 10 times better than any bar I would train on.
Why switched? Why do you switch?
Mainly just at the time when we were using the less than perfect equipment.
Yeah.
It was mainly just because that's what we had.
Okay.
So eventually we ended up getting a Penley bushing bar.
Okay.
Which still isn't ideal because you want bearings.
Yeah.
But it was again
probably
better than anything we were doing. We were mostly lifting on York bars, which
wow, powerlifting old school. Right?
York bars are pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But these were like old school York bars.
Yeah.
So they were also like 20, 30 years old and like covered in rust, and all the knurling had been like stripped away and everything.
Like you need chalk just to even like touch the bar.
So yeah, and again didn't realize how bad their turning was until years later, probably just a few years ago. We held a local meet at our gym in Virginia at the time, and I warmed up with one of those old York bars.
Yeah.
And like lifting, I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't remember it making this much noise turning.
Oh yeah, and then you have a little bit of orange on you afterwards.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, what did I just do? Am I Oompa Loompa now with all this orange on me?
So yeah, eventually we got a Penley and then some bearing bars and everything to on top of that. So just got better equipment as it went along. But like I said, that I think another thing that helped me, like, I'll hear a lot of people at meets talking about like, oh, the floor's uneven, watch out for that.
Yeah.
The platform's uneven, or the bar doesn't spin very well, or things like that. And that very rarely gets in my head.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't, because I'm like, whatever whatever is out there on the platform is way better than what I'm used to.
Yeah, and also whatever I'm going through, you're gonna have to go through it too. So it's gonna level across the playing field.
Yeah.
What about? And for those who don't know kilos, we are in America, and this probably won't be heard much out. I don't imagine this being heard very internationally. But you said 416 is your best total. What would that be in pounds? Do you have any idea? 2.2 is conversion.
Give me.
If you want to do the math at home, math at home, call us in right now.
I think. I want to say it's about 916.
Yeah.
Altogether.
Okay, it's up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then best clean and jerk is over 500. So what is it now? What was that?
506.
506, and then snatch is over 400 now.
Yeah, I think it's 409 or 410.
Okay, just for an idea for people who lift in American units, freedom units. What about your dad's your coach? Mm-hmm. And one thing I never imagined my dad be my coach. I couldn't do it. Not that he's not a great guy and he's not very knowledgeable. It's just something, I notice this with my girlfriend too. When I say something, my girlfriend won't take it at face value. She'll be like, okay. But if someone else says it, they're an expert. And if my dad says something to me about, I used to play basketball, and he played in high school a little bit, and he tells me something, I'm like, oh, that's nice. But my coach tells me, I'm like, yes, exactly. How are you able to listen to your dad, aka your coach, and separate the two? Or do you separate the two? Is it something that kind of melts together?
Yeah, I mean, we try to separate the two as best as we can.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't always work, but it's all just something that when we started, it was something he made sure he did, like being active in our lives and everything by coaching us.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time, I don't think he was able to do it every year so he was basically our rec league football coach starting off.
Early.
Yeah, early on. And he tried to coach us. I have 3 other brothers, so there's 4 of us all together. No sisters.
A lot of testosterone. Are you the oldest?
Testosterone. No, I'm actually number 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, 3, Cord's younger than you.
Yeah.
So it's 2 older brothers, you, then Cord.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
And we're all different ages and everything. So he tried to make sure that he was our coach.
Yeah.
For at least 1 year in football. I think he ended up being able to be coach for us. Probably 2 years for each of us. I think he ended up. But yeah, just being involved like that, at a young age where you don't really know anything about I'm not at an age where I'm gonna be rebellious or wanting to challenge him about anything. So he's coach, he knows what he's talking about. And then being able to go into that, he was also my coach for middle school football. He was the lineman coach at our middle school. So going into that, and then he became the strength conditioning coach for the high school football team. And we were able to use the the stadium, weight room and everything that the football team used. Yeah. We were able to use that for weightlifting as well. So he just kind of carried into that coaching through that. And it just kind of, very easily becomes something that you just accept.
Yeah.
And not in a bad way.
No. Yeah.
But you're just...
Wasn't against your will. Yeah.
I was always used to him being a coach, so it was nothing that I challenged him about or anything. And he's extremely knowledgeable. He had dabbled in weightlifting, never competed. That's the first thing that a lot of people will ask. How'd your coach get into weightlifting? Or how'd your dad get into weightlifting?
Yeah.
And, did he compete when he was younger or anything? And I'm like, no, he dabbled in it, but it was by dabbling, he was just goofing around in the gym kind of stuff. So he basically rediscovered the lifts, trying to help the football team out with their strength conditioning and everything. Because whatever program they were on beforehand, there wasn't any sort of Olympic lifting. It was, at most, I think maybe some power cleans or something.
It was the old powerlifting style training.
Yeah.
Before the internet kind of got big.
Yeah. So when he kind of rediscovered the Olympic lifts.
Yeah.
He basically taught himself.
Yeah.
He talked with a local coach in the area, and basically from that, started his own team and worked with us and contacted a lot of different coaches in the nation. I probably couldn't name them all, but and then we started competing, at local, then national competitions and everything. Met some more coaches, and he just learned a lot in those early years, and was very good at relaying that message to his athletes and everything as far as technique goes and everything. Yeah. He's always been surprisingly good at being having such an eye. Like, it takes years, coaches know like a lot of philosophies and things.
Yep.
It takes a while to get that sort of like eye for it, where you can just watch someone lift and be able to be like, just off of that lift, like, oh, they're too forward, they got their weight too much on the toes or something, things like that. They're cutting their pull short. But my dad has been a coach for just such a long time.
Yeah. How many years would you say?
Probably including like his rec league football. Over 20 years, I'd say.
Okay, yeah. Does that hold, I think it was John Maxwell or Joseph Campbell, the 10,000 hours makes you into a master?
Yeah.
There's some debate on that, but still, 20 years.
It's a pretty good starting point for,
yeah.
for that. And he's been coaching weightlifting for 17 or 18 years now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just got such an eye for not just weightlifting, but like athleticism in general. And I think part of it is because weightlifting focuses so much on explosive strength, and there's such a great turnover for just about any sport you can think of.
Oh, man.
Maybe not endurance running, but anything else you can think of, like everything uses the hips.
Oh, yeah.
And so this past year, he's been doing I'm going to butcher the name. He's basically taking a training course for coaching that's like on a national level held by USOC.
Okay. Wait, Husoc?
USOC.
Okay. Well, you don't have to tell me. This is on my podcast. You're going to tell me I suck. Just kidding. No, USOC.
The United States Olympic Committee.
Oh, okay. Oh, man, I thought we were getting attacked.
There's just a couple more things for you to bleep out.
Yeah,
now.
right. Yeah. Love it.
But he's been doing a kind of heading out of town for like seminars and coaching courses and stuff. Yeah. And he's the only lifting coach doing it right now. Mm-hmm. But there's a broad range of coaches. Like I know there's a ski jumping coach, figure skating coach. There's a lot of winter sports that I can think of. Yeah. Bobsled. And just like in the stories I hear about like him spending a few days out and then coming back and talking to these coaches and stuff, he has such an incredible eye. Like this past time he went up to Boston and talked with a figure skating pairs coach.
Okay.
And watched a video that the guy had of his athletes. And just, my dad's not a figure skating coach.
Yeah.
I dare say he's not much of a figure skating fan either.
But he's a big figure skater himself. So
yes.
He's always on the ice.
Always. This is how rumors get started.
Yeah, let's say, yeah.
But
he's gonna get a huge following from the figure skating community.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing.
But the figure skating coach showed him a video of his athletes.
Yeah.
And Dad's like, watches the video and he says, do you see how the guy's catching the girl? And basically was able to tell that he's weak in a certain position and needs to strengthen, this stuff. And the coach is like, you're exactly right. Like, that's exactly what I've been telling him to do. And again, I'm just like, how can you tell that with a figure skater?
Right, yeah.
Like, you don't know anything about the sport, but just how that, how athletes move. And I think he's at that point where like can just eyeball, and he knows that all athletes move in a certain way. Like everything's explosive, so it's all about opening up the hips and everything.
Oh yeah.
So he just spots that so well. It's amazing.
Well, yeah, one thing I love about weightlifting is that it's so transferable because you have to be proficient, if not very excellent, at the 7 basic fundamental movement patterns, like the squat, the hinge, like the deadlift, upper body push, upper body pull, trunk rotation, the lunge, and I think running is maybe one of those debatable 7th ones. Yeah, I've heard swimming might be one of them too, but these are all basically like if you could squat, you know how to pull, push, hinge, like with your deadlift, that translates to every other sport and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's that's a good point.
Yeah, because like with baseball training, you're not like if you want to, or golf, I think that's a good one. You don't want to have. There's a lot of research or articles I read into where you don't want to practice your golf swing with a heavy golf club or resistance pole and trying to swing against resistance. You want to develop the fundamental strength, and it translates better when you work on technique and using the right equipment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point because, every usually when my dad has his seminars, he'll talk about the 10 aspects of fitness that CrossFit promotes.
Oh yeah, fantastic stuff.
Yeah, and he'll basically be like, of course, one of them is cardio, and like you said, there's a little bit of argument as far as.
Well, you need it a little for recovery.
You do need it,
but we're going to argue when it comes in the program.
But he basically says, there's no real exercise that addresses all of these like a clean and jerk or a snatch would.
Yeah. And if you just do enough clean and jerks, you'll feel the cardio.
Yeah. Do grace if you really need the cardio.
Geez, yeah. No, that's one mean lady. Yeah. I would say, Greg Glassman was like named all his benchmark movements ladies because he couldn't think of any other tougher name for them than a strong woman.
Right.
And so, man. But I was like, CrossFit is one reason why I got into weightlifting, and it's how have you seen this? How have you seen the sport grow with the impact of CrossFit and all that?
It's definitely expanded as far as the audience goes. There's a lot more people aware of the sport.
Yeah.
Like, I started weightlifting in 2000, went to my first school-age nationals in 2003.
Man.
So I've been like, I've kind of seen weightlifting in like a lot of its ups and downs over the last, few years.
Yeah.
And, 10 years ago, if I walked up to someone asked me what I do, and I would say, I weightlift. First question they automatically ask is, what's your bench?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which I particularly hate that for more than one reason. Not just because I don't bench.
Yeah.
Or I don't compete in bench press, but mostly because my bench press really stinks.
I feel you.
Compared to anything.
Oh, man.
Any other lift, like ask me any other lift, I'll feel halfway decent about telling you about it.
Yeah.
But talk to me about my bench, and I'm probably not going to be your friend for very long.
No, yeah. You're not going to be impressed at all. Yeah. They'll talk behind your back like, this guy can't even bench like 300 yet, or he probably could. Probably no problem.
My best...
Yeah, what is your best?
Okay. I'll put this disclaimer in.
Okay.
The last time I maxed out my bench was 2011.
Okay.
I think. It's been
so it's
a
massive
few years.
Now.
Yeah.
It's massive now.
Yeah. I just don't max it out.
Yeah. The jerk translates really well to a bench.
Yeah.
It really the squat.
And in that max out, I broke 300 pounds for the first time.
Give me some. Pound it.
Thank
there we go. Yeah. That felt like a 300 pound right there. Oh, man. The most I ever got was 280, so I'm coming up to you a little bit.
Yeah. And that's the main thing. Like, 300, for most people, that's pretty respectable on the bench.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that I'm bigger than your average person.
You're thick.
So,
as you described earlier. Yeah. Physically.
So I'm not too happy about that.
Oh, yeah.
I did, like a couple years ago, last year, after Worlds, I did a little bit of like strength and conditioning, more like bodybuilding kind of work. And I did do a bench press workout, 5x6.
Oh.
At like I think it was 120.
Okay.
So it was like 264.
Yeah. 275.
And it actually felt really strong.
Hey, you're just blowing it up.
And I told myself, like, I'm going to max out, and I'm going to hit, like, 350 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then I never did.
Oh, okay.
And then I never maxed out.
Do you even deadlift either? I know a lot of Olympic lifters do heavy pulls, but not necessarily deadlift.
Yeah. I mean, I do a lot of pulls.
Okay.
I guess you could consider them deadlifts at some points.
Yeah, when it's not as
weight.
explosive, you're picking it up. It's a deadlift.
Yeah. But I will do a lot of pulling. I feel like when I do more pulls, and we'll actually, I usually do more pulls, but my dad will have me do some deadlifts just to feel some weight.
Yeah.
Or he'll have me go light and just kind of like work on form and just kind of quick thing to work out my back a little bit.
Yeah.
But when for the pulls, when I do pulls, I feel like I feel better breaking off the ground.
Okay.
For me personally.
Oh, yeah.
So I like pulls just for that confidence booster off the floor.
Yeah. Just even up to the knee. That's what I've been working on a lot. Just getting it off the floor.
Yeah, pulls to the knee, snatch grip.
Yeah. Oh, snatch will tear up your... Oh, you use straps, don't you? Or you recently started using straps? Talked to you 2 years ago, you said you did.
Okay.
Disclaimer against don't...
Disclaimer.
Yeah.
Do as I say, not as I do. No.
Yeah.
I personally use straps for pulls.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. I don't use them at all for like anything that's going overhead. So no. I don't use them for snatches, and I definitely don't use them for cleans.
Yeah.
I think most people would agree with the cleans, but I know a lot of people will use snatches and stuff. I'll just do I'll do pulls with straps, mainly just to save my hands for the next day kind of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't like using straps because I don't want to give myself the confidence I can pull something off the floor and snatch it. And then when I come to the competition and I'm like, I feel the weight in my hand, it's just, it'll mess with my psyche.
Yeah.
That's going to jumble that out. Speaking of psychology and stuff like that, you talked to me 2 years ago when you came to our gym about you were just getting into, or you've been working on the mental side of it. Did you read books on it? Or I'm sure your dad was helpful in that. What got you so mentally strong? Or what in your progress?
So basically the biggest thing that dad was a help for me was he basically said, in so many words, this is not exactly what he said, but he basically said, you've got a problem.
Sure.
And
you have problems, son. Yeah.
Yeah. He was basically like, this isn't a problem of technique. This is a problem of in your own head right now.
Oh man.
And I can't necessarily fix that for you. That's something you have to figure out yourself.
And that's a life thing. That's not just weightlifting.
Yeah.
We all struggle with. Everybody struggles with something in their head that says you can't lift this, or this is going to be heavy, or this life is going to be heavy.
We are often our own worst critics.
Oh man.
So there's a lot of whether it be weightlifting and going for a new number, or some sort of business venture, or just an idea or something.
Yeah.
We often get in our own way just with telling ourselves that we can't do it, or doubting.
Oh yeah.
And that was basically what I did. At my first national championships, 2013, I totaled 392.
Yeah.
Went 6 for 6. Had at the time best meet of my life, and people were starting to talk about me hitting a 400 kilo total, which I hadn't really thought about at that point.
Oh yeah.
So when they started to talk about that, I kind of, hitting trying quick math, that was a 16 kilo PR for me. Oh. So it was a big jump.
In a competition, you hit 16 kilograms over your total.
Yeah. That's
unheard of. That's gross. That just makes me feel sick to my stomach about how my 1 kilo is. I'm like, yeah.
So yeah, and it was kind of one of those things where my best lifts, my best total didn't represent my best lifts, just because I hadn't hit them both at the same meet kind of thing. So like at the time I snatched 173 and I did that 212 and a half.
Weak.
So we'll say 213.
Yeah, weak, whatever. Yeah.
So probably my best total, like if you put those numbers together, I think my best total was probably more of a like 3. It was probably just like a 6 kilo off of those numbers. It was like 3 kilos in each, my snatch and clean and jerk. But my best meet total at the time was only 376. So it was a 16 kilo jump in that.
Man, yeah. And you followed yourself, I'm assuming, after all these lifts.
No, actually, that was a pretty. The end result didn't show what was going on with it. There were 3 of us that were all kind of vying for that top spot. Me, Shane Mayer, and Cameron Swart.
Okay.
And I was probably the underdog at that point because Shane had just totaled like 381 at Pan Am's a couple months before, I think. And Cameron was the returning national champion.
Yeah.
And I was just, I was just Caine Wilkes and was up there, but not quite.
Yeah.
Not quite there.
You were the underdragon at the time.
So going into that meet, I was the underdog. And Cameron ended up, overall, he just didn't have a great meet. I think he only made his opening snatch, which put him behind a lot. Did better in the clean and jerk.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly what he hit. But after the snatches, it was basically me versus Shane.
Yeah.
And I think I opened at 65 and Shane opened at 68, 165, 168. And we both made them. And then I went to 170 and made it. He went to 172 and made it. So then we both put 175 on the bar.
Hey.
And I always remember this. We went to, I had wanted 176. Mm-hmm. And then Dad is like, the smarter thing to do, because if, you're behind right now. Like I had 170, Shane had 172. The smarter thing was to meet Shane at 175, make it, because I was also the first to go. At 175, I would go first, make it, and then Shane would have to make it to stay tied with me.
Yep.
And I was lighter than him, so I would have gotten the gold medal anyways.
Gotcha.
At that point. Now they've changed the rules.
Yeah, now it's a lot of order.
Which I still would have gotten.
Yeah.
Because I'd have gone first. I'm still getting used to these rules.
Yeah, and there's new, they just released an email about they're having new amendments to all the, and I couldn't figure out what the new amendments were yet, but I'm still there's a lot of documents. But you and Shane.
Yeah, so we're both at 175.
Okay.
And I'm first up, so I start to walk out to the bar with Dad, and I just kind of go, I really want 176. You want me to do 176? I can do 176.
Yeah.
And Dad's like, do you want it? And I was like, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
So we're like leisurely walking up to the table and then leisurely walking away and like changing our weights. And I didn't realize this at the time. Cord got a good view of it. Like we said this all in front of Shane, and Shane heard us and like turned to his coach and was like, they're moving up. And Roger's like, they still have to make it, we'll stay at 76. But, and I don't, I can't actually say this, so I apologize to Shane if he hears this, and I'm totally wrong on this.
Yeah.
But it might have shook his confidence a little bit.
Yeah.
And he ended up missing 175, and then I went and hit 176.
It's a mind game, yeah.
So I went into the clean and jerks ahead in the snatch, which wasn't unusual for me at that point. I usually won the snatch and then would lose in the clean and jerk.
Yeah.
And would end up like second or third because of that. But this time I PR'd my clean and jerk, so I actually had some numbers that were comparable to them. So I think me and Shane both opened with 205, and I went from 205 to 211 and hit that, and then went 216 and hit that. And I think Shane went 210 or 211 to try to match me.
Yeah.
And he missed it twice.
Oh.
And then Cameron, I think Cameron opened at like 200 and then went like 209 or 210 and made that. So he ended up having a strong performance in the clean and jerk. But I ended up, Shane ended up with like a 3 377 total, and I ended up with 392. But it was closer than that.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of bar hopping and stuff.
Yeah, we're still trading spots on the
Yeah.
or trading attempts.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Yeah.
But
it's fun. The results turn out fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah, that was at the time my best meet ever. But it kind of put me in a position that I hadn't been in before of, being on top.
Yeah, this
And,
target 400.
Yeah. And wanted to get to that 400 total, and also it sent me to my first world championship. So a lot of things that I wasn't quite ready for.
Yeah. What were you feeling? Like doubt or like?
Yeah, it was kind of doubt. And I listened to, I think one good analogy that I had heard about this was basically like thinking of yourself, like your self-image as like a thermostat.
Okay. Yeah.
Follow me.
Okay,
me.
I'm visualizing, the old school or the chemistry lab.
Yeah. So basically a thermostat, you set it at, room temperature, and this is what you think of yourself. And if you basically with your self-image and self-esteem, if it's lower than what it's usually set at, the thermostat will take actions to balance it out.
Okay.
So if you underperform, you'll take steps to correct yourself.
Yep.
But the same thing can happen too, where if you overperform, if the room's too hot, it'll take action to bring it back down.
So let's say Caine entered the room, it got really hot. Now it has to turn on.
So yeah, I had a really good meet, and I hadn't really considered myself, at that level.
Yeah.
It was almost like, doubting like it was a fluke.
Oh yeah.
Basically. And
so you were your own internal thermostat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Didn't know if life was all of a sudden about to try to correct you. It was yourself. Okay.
It was it was myself. It wasn't any external factors. But I basically just went from like, leading up to that, had some really great training, hit that great meet, and then the next 3 months I had some of the worst training I've ever had.
Oh man, yeah.
Like missing struggling with like 70% of my best and everything. Like, and that's supposed to be, most days that's supposed to be like warm up.
That's
weights
routine,
and, and went to the World Championships and had probably one of my worst meets, if not the worst meet I've ever had.
And only on a big platform too.
Only made my openers, and they were kind of ugly openers and all. And I think I totaled 378.
Okay.
Which was 14 kilos under what I did at nationals, and it was probably the first time I had ever really like consciously been afraid of bombing out.
Yeah.
Because I know bombing out is kind of it's every lifter's worst fear, but I just don't ever consider it an option. Mm-hmm. So it's never really in my mind, and like I basically am like, I'm not gonna bomb out.
Yeah.
Where's some wood I can knock on?
Yeah, I guess that's close enough. Like it's probably not real wood, some faux wood.
Not.
Yeah,
that's good enough though.
Yeah. It's a heavy knock. Yeah.
But with that was, like I said, it's worst meet ever, and I basically had just kind of convinced myself that I had just nationals was just a fluke, and I was like here instead of at those numbers. So then my dad talked to me about like, hey, you're not as confident as you used to be. You need to work on this. And actually talked with a friend at our gym at the time in Virginia. His name's Jeff. He was huge into like positive image, like
positive self-talk.
Positive self-talk, self-motivation, and everything.
Yep.
And he reads books on this, and showed me a couple books. Started me on Malcolm Gladwell books.
Good choice.
Yeah, they're good books. Not necessarily like...
They're not easy reads.
No.
Yeah.
And they're also not necessarily those books that are like, here's what you should do to change your life.
Oh, no.
A lot of them are basically like showing examples of, of this in the course of life, like basically saying it's possible.
Yeah, there's stories.
Yeah. Like David and Goliath was, I think, the first one I read, which is,
And you're supposed to be David in this story? Okay, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. I can imagine Goliath.
You should see Goliath.
Yeah, Jesus.
But yeah, David and Goliath is basically like a book about it's like a giant ode to the underdog.
Okay.
But also talking about like how in underdog situations, the so-called underdog doesn't always have the odds against them as much as people just face value see. Mm-hmm. Like in Malcolm Gladwell's interpretation of the story of David and Goliath, David has a lot of things going for him. As far as he's not having armor on and everything, he's a lot faster moving, and probably in that time, just to briefly go over this.
Yeah.
A little bit in that time, like people were a little more well versed in a sling.
Yep.
Like David probably knew how to throw around a sling.
Yeah.
And be accurate with it too.
Yeah, they were like deadly back then.
Yeah. So, that along with a couple other things, he brings the point, like, and overall just having like, faith. With in his God that he would deliver Goliath to him. But overall, and through different stories and everything, he talks a lot about like, even though you may feel like an underdog, like think of, there are some things that you have going for you.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of things, like he also has outliers, talking about, what makes these outliers tick and everything. So going from that, found some CDs that my dad had about, like, it was called The Psychology of Winning. It's an old series.
That sounds so familiar. I think I've definitely run across them.
It's from like the 80s.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you can get past the like kind of synthesizer intros.
Yeah. The 80s had some weird
some of like
soundtracks.
The outdated references and stuff.
Yeah.
If you can get past that, it had a lot of good information. It had that's where I got the thermostat image from.
Oh, good one.
So listen to those CDs, and then I actually found a book called The Champion's Mind.
Interesting.
I think the author is Jim Afremov. Okay. And I got it after reading Malcolm Gladwell, thinking, this is going to be something about like, here's what athletes are doing.
Yeah.
But it was like straightforward, like, this is what you need to do if you want to be a champion.
That's intense. Yeah.
So it was basically like, this is, it started off like the very first page was like, picture your role model. Like, picture someone who's better than you in your sport. Why are they your role model? If you see qualities that you admire in them, you have those qualities and you can bring those out yourself. So like straight goes into it like, you can do this, and let me show you how to do it.
That's exactly what you want from a book, like a
Yeah.
roadmap.
Yeah, it was probably one of my favorite books I read throughout that. And then
and what's it called again?
The Champion's Mind.
The Champion's Mind.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's a very straightforward, like, talks about visualization, even talks about relaxation techniques. It has a couple things about nutrition and stuff. But the main thing is just, it's very straightforward on like, these are things people do, and these are what you should be doing, because all the top athletes are doing it.
Yeah.
Getting that positive mindset. So that was a great read. And just through that, like, it was probably February of 2014, I think, that I started to like get into this. And it was like a total 180.
Awesome.
Like just starting to work on my mental state.
Yeah.
Helped me flip around my training. And 2 months later, we had a local meet at the gym, and I PR'd my snatch and my clean and jerk.
Yep.
Just a 1 kilo PR in the snatch, but it was the first time I clean and jerked 220.
Oh, wow.
And I did that, that meet. Then went to Pan Am's a couple months later, and I actually won Pan Am's.
Yep. Is that your first Pan Am's gold?
Yeah.
Nice.
First and only.
Oh,
thus
yeah,
far.
okay, yeah, true.
But yeah, did like a total 180, totaled 399 at Pan Am's. I wanted that 400.
Yeah.
But at the time, so I had one gold overall.
Okay.
But someone went out. I wanted 222, which would have given me the 400 total, and I had just hit 218. After that, I forget what country. I want to say Venezuelan.
Yeah, I think so.
He clean and jerked 220 for the gold in the clean and jerk.
Yeah.
So they wanted to be conservative, and they gave me 221 for the gold in the clean and jerk as
Gotcha.
well. Which, at that point, I was like, if I'm gonna miss 222, I'm probably gonna miss 221.
Yeah.
But whatever, I went out there and I hit it, and then nationals was 2 months after that. Wow, these are a lot of 2 month periods.
Yeah, you had a quick turnaround.
Yeah. Nationals that year, I hit 400 pound snatch for the first time, and a 400 kilo total for the first time.
Rock on.
And I attempted 500 pounds in the clean and jerk for the first time. And I actually racked it.
Yeah.
And lost it coming up.
Oh,
But-
was it too far forward, do you remember? Or?
Yeah, it was kind of one of those ones that just crushed me, like my whole chest collapsed on it. And I actually, I can say it now because it's not like I made the lift.
Oh, yeah.
But I touched my elbow to my knee.
Oh.
And actually one of the judges, Fred Lowe, who was a good lifter back in his day, came up to me and was like, "Did you touch your knee to your elbow on that lift?"
Yeah.
Because they didn't call it, because I basically collapsed and then got my elbows up and tried to come up, but it just wore me out too much.
Yeah.
But he came after the awards and was like, "Did you touch your elbow to your knee?" And I don't know why I was trying to be defensive about it, because I was like, I missed the lift, and I was like, there was a lot going on. Like, I was in the heat of the moment. I don't know. Maybe like a hair graze. I don't really know.
Yeah. Don't take away my sunshine right now.
Yeah.
I'm really happy. Yeah.
So yeah, he just kind of laughed at that answer. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Clearly there's a little bit more mental stuff we can work on too after that. Always.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like after that, felt like I got my confidence up, and it's been going well. Last year was a little rough with Pan Am's last year. Mm-hmm. Did not have a
right after the elbow, right?
It was around that point. So yeah, I ended up having a what they call a loose body in my elbow, my right elbow, and that basically is just like a floating ball of soft tissue.
Ew.
It's usually made by like you tear something in your elbow. Yeah. Like you tear a ligament or something, so it's floating around there and gets caught. Okay. But in rare cases, in my case, it ended up like sometimes you'll just grow them.
What? Like a petri dish over here?
Yeah, just like grow a little ball of soft tissue. So I had a little marble-sized...
You had a little baby in your elbow.
Yeah.
A loose, whatever it's called, baby in your elbow.
Loose body baby.
A loose body. I mean, they're pretty flexible. They're pretty limber. So, yeah.
So I was having trouble with it at this point. And I do think, like, in hindsight, it probably did affect me more than I realized.
Yeah. Was it just anything you held overhead, you'd feel pain, or did it?
It wasn't so much while I was lifting. Yep. Although, like I said, it prevented me from really locking out my arm completely.
Gotcha.
I mean, it was probably just like a couple degrees, but that makes a big difference for weightlifting. Yeah. So I think it did affect my snatches a lot more than I realized.
And how rare is this? Because I'm sure if anybody's like me,
I'm not sure. I don't think if my doctor gave me a percentage of like how often these loose bodies happen. Yeah. In particular, like the ones that just kind of pop up out of nowhere. I'm not sure.
Because if anybody's like me listening to this, they're probably like, my elbow doesn't straighten out. I probably have one of those too. I need to get surgery now. Or
No.
we're WebMDing them right
So
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
You also have lupus. Yeah.
To put some people's minds at rest, like it was a lot of like sometimes, most of the time it felt fine, but sometimes I would just like it would, you know, like I said, the ball would just get somewhere, lodged somewhere, and
it would happen randomly.
Most of the time it'd be random.
That's not what you want when you're putting something over your head. Yeah.
So thankfully I never had it happen while I was lifting.
Good. Yeah.
But the time, like shortly afterwards, because after Pan Ams there was still like an outside chance that I could have gotten a spot for the Olympic team or something, a very outside chance. I think I was just being hopeful at this point.
Yeah.
But I still tried to train and everything, and it was getting worse and worse. It was basically leading up to Pan Ams. It was kind of like locking up once a day.
Okay.
And then after that, it started to lock up while I was training, not while I was actually making a lift or anything.
Yeah.
But like in between lifts, it actually lock up. And the time, I think the second or third time that happened, I usually would just stop for the day. When that happened. But the third time that happened, I was like, I need to get this checked out because it's obviously not going away.
No. Yeah.
So yeah, it just basically would like click and lock up, and then I wouldn't be able to extend my arm. And at that point, like extending my arm, trying to extend it, would just be extremely painful. So yeah, I'm glad that never happened while I was lifting.
Yeah. Blessings right there.
Yeah.
And now you're doing really good right now.
Yeah, training's going pretty well. You know, like after Pan Ams, I didn't make the Olympic team or anything. Mm-hmm. So I planned on taking like a physical break, and then I had that surgery on my elbow. They just removed the loose body.
Yep.
Feels great.
Yep. Yeah, you gave birth. C-section wise. Yeah.
And you know, it took a little bit of time to get back in the swing of things, mainly just because, you know, again, I took a physical break, but I think I basically forcefully had like a mental break. Like I was just kind of burnt out after Pan Ams.
It's also a part of the mental strength is being able to, like physical strength. Like you work on it all the time, you also need to have recovery too.
Yeah, it's very true. There's a book I'm reading right now.
Ooh, what is it?
It's called The Leading Brain.
I'm gonna write that down. The Leading Brain.
Yeah, couldn't tell you who it's by.
I'm really bad at that too. I was like, so besides like someone like John Maxwell or Joseph Campbell, I can't remember authors very well.
His name's Malcolm Gladwell.
It is Malcolm. Is that what I say? Maxim.
I think Joseph Campbell.
Joseph Campbell, and then
who I think Joseph Campbell is an important figure, but I couldn't tell you who.
I can't remember what he does either.
He might have made the soup cans. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Campbell soup. Yeah. What was it? The Leading Brain.
The Leading Brain.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's definitely more suited towards like business.
Gotcha.
But I find like, you know, a lot of business or self-help books or whatever you want to call them, like they all kind of lend themselves to different areas. Like take the fact and just apply it to whatever you're working on, whether it be a business, whether it be a project, whether it be a sport.
Which is all what you're doing.
Yeah, or just, a little bit of everything.
All the gambit, yeah. Full house.
But they talk about like the first, it's like broken up into 3 parts.
Yeah.
The first part that I'm reading right now is about achieving peak performance, and it's talking about it like on a neurological level, talking about chemicals and what
intense like serotonin and all the adrenaline levels.
Yeah, talking about serotonin. I'm already blanking on.
Yeah, there's a lot of different dopamine. There's
dopamine. That's the one I was trying to think of.
There's like 4 happy chemicals that go through your brain.
And basically like how your brain reacts to stressors and everything, and how you basically have to find that like happy spot because stressors can be a very positive experience, just as much as they can be a very negative experience.
Yeah.
But one thing it does talk about is like it talks about achieving your peak performance, and then it says, but you can't really do that all the time.
No, yeah.
Because, just like, if you think of your brain as a muscle, it will tire out eventually. So you kind of have to have that balance of like knowing what days to like really tune it in and be focused and ready to attack.
Yeah.
And knowing what days to like just chill and have some fun.
Yep.
So yeah.
If you want a swole brain, just make sure you recover.
Yeah.
Get that brain gains.
Gotta have that recovery.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, get bigger skulls. That's what we're working on. That's why your hair is there. It makes room for the extra brain.
Definitely, yeah.
With all the other, you mentioned a lot of books. Is there an author that you really like? Because you're a big reader.
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily just for nonfiction, but for anything.
Yeah, as far as fiction goes, I do like Elmore Leonard a lot.
How do you spell that? I've been looking into new fiction authors.
Elmore, Leonard, Leonard.
Okay, gotcha.
That was tough.
And you are correct. Or wait, like origin of a word or whatever. I'm trying to think spelling bee. You're gonna be on ESPN for that now. For spelling bee. Move over those fifth graders. And what kind of books are those?
They're usually like mystery crime. Have you ever heard of the show Justified?
Yes.
On FX?
Yes.
Well,
it's FXX.
It's done now, but yeah.
Oh.
But Justified is based off of a couple of short stories he wrote.
Okay.
And then and I think they turned into full-length novels. Yeah. And he actually wrote a book based off of the show, kind of thing. Like, so he writes a lot of kind of like mystery crime novels, and a lot of them have been made into movies, and that one was a TV show.
Justified, yeah.
Yeah. And he just has a really good way of propelling the story forward.
Okay.
Through, not just through like exposition or just explaining things. He does it very well through like dialogue.
Okay.
Characters talking to each other.
Yeah.
And you get a feel for the characters, and you get a lot of the development of the characters through that. And he's really good at it in a lot of the stories and books that I've read of his.
Are you one that reads a book and you're trying to figure out the end? Or I do this when I watch CSI Miami, or used to. That's not really on anymore. Or if it is, I don't definitely watch it. But like, you try to guess the ending or try to figure out the clues yourself, or how do you read one of his books, being it's a mystery book?
With him, they're usually a lot more like. They're usually a lot more fun and a lot more just about the characters and just like this is like a wild ride kind of thing going on.
Like strap on in,
So I think for his books in particular, like it's a lot of just kind of enjoying the ride and seeing like what kind of crazy things happen for it. I will do that some. I do that more with like TV shows.
Yep.
Emily's gotten me into the Game of Thrones series.
Wow.
Which, have you watched them?
No, because I'm trying to steer away from long season series, because I will love them. I know I will.
Yeah, it's
that Mad Men, Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, all that. I just gotta stay away from it.
Yeah,
or I'll get nothing done.
Haven't looked into Mad Men or Breaking Bad.
When I see your logo, or your old logo, I thought Mad Men all the way. So I feel like and it's a marketing company. I think that's what it's based on. So
that's true. Yeah, I think so.
And you look just like John Hamm.
Exactly.
Just like he was.
Image.
He was America's like sexiest man. So move over. Yeah. I'll have to make a meme and put your face in the cover. So we just make this happen, America.
Yeah, but she's gotten me into the Game of Thrones series, which we did like. Probably spent way too much time watching them because I'm all the way through all 6 seasons.
Congratulations.
That's eagerly awaiting for the next season, which I think starts in July.
Yeah. Are you watching it on TV or Netflix?
HBO now.
Or HBO, it's HBO,
We're watching it through that. But, yeah, watching that with her. Yeah. It's fun because she's seen all of it leading up to it. And before we actually started to watch it together, I think I watched maybe the first 2 or 3 episodes long time ago. Yeah. Trying to get into it, and I just couldn't at the time. Yeah. I think I just didn't give it enough time. Like 4 or 5 episodes, I'm just like, wow.
It takes a while to develop the story, yeah.
So like going into that, without any sort of idea of what's going on, and like right before the crazy things that make you go, oh my goodness,
there's a lot of shock.
It's, they're not afraid to, kill off main characters like left and right.
Oh, man.
So like watching that, and you just kind of like, you just kind of get a feel for certain tropes and stuff. So like right before something bad's about to happen, I'm like, this can't end. Like I'm like, something's up. And Emily's like, what do you mean? Trying to like cover it up as best as you can.
Yeah.
And then like 2 minutes later, I'm like, no. And then kind of like, but I told you something bad was going to happen.
You can prepare yourself all you want, but when that person like goes.
Yeah. I'm currently, along with that Leading Brain book, I am rereading the first book of the Game of Thrones series. I guess A Song of Ice and Fire.
How long are these books?
They're huge.
Okay, longer than like the Harry Potter books, or there's definitely more books than like any Harry Potter series or Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah, so I think Harry Potter's like 7 books, right?
Yeah, 7.
I think I read the first 3 books of Harry Potter.
I got through the first 4, I don't blame you. When the movies came out, it was just so much easier.
Now, I know that Emily made me watch the Harry Potter series too.
Good job, Emily, if you hear me. Good job.
And the Harry Potter books get longer as they go through. So I don't know how. I know the first 3 books were pretty quick reads for me.
Yep.
And I know probably book 4 is when it starts to like pile up and get longer. But like the Game of Thrones books, they start super long, and I'm pretty sure they just get longer.
Oh gosh.
Like I have the version I have is a pretty large book.
Yeah.
And it's like 670. It's like nearly 700 pages. And this is just the first book of the series.
Yeah.
And Emily has a version that's more like a pocketbook size.
Yeah.
And it's like 800 plus easy.
Man.
And then, like I said, the second and the third book, I think, are just both longer. It's not like they're incredibly longer, but I'm pretty sure it goes from like nearly 700 pages to like nearly 800 pages kind of thing. So, which is a big difference.
Yeah.
It makes a difference.
It's a good few hours difference.
Yeah. And
depending on the read.
I read the
special guest.
We're talking about Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's Emily. If anybody wanted to know, what's up? You look a lot differently than you were earlier.
I did a thing called taking a shower that I don't do very often.
Wow.
Just kidding.
If you could smell her from home, audience, I'm sure she smells great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys get out of that. I'm just gonna chill and drink beer.
Where?
Okay.
We should be done soon. It won't be too much longer.
Yeah, no worries. Take your time.
Yeah, all the secrets about you. So.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I have such a crazy life. I'm sure it was riveting.
Yeah, it's been an expose just about you.
Great.
But seriously.
Yeah. No, we can't talk about her anymore.
So yeah, I've read the first book.
Yep.
And like I said, I couldn't get into the series at first, but when I read the book, I got into that a lot more.
Yep.
And it may have been like reading the book and knowing a little bit more about it got me into the series more when I reapproached it or whatever. But now that I watched the entire series, and like one of the first things I always do when I get into like a series and finish it, I immediately like start to look up the fan theories.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
All those. And a lot of the fan theories and just theories in general deal with the books. So then I'm like, picking up on little things here and there. I go back to the books, and I am enjoying the books a lot more now.
Okay.
Just because I think, it's such an intricate plot. There's like so many subplots and character plots going on all at once that it's hard to follow.
Yeah.
But now that I've kind of like gotten to know a lot of the characters, you go back to the books and you know what they're talking about like from page 1.
Yeah.
So it's helping me kind of like understand a lot of it and remembering like, at the time they like mention this kind of like fact that
you would just
it
like
seems,
brush off.
Yeah, it seems kind of haphazard and all.
Yeah.
But now that I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, I should remember that because
Yeah.
that's actually important.
Are the same people still getting offed in these books?
Yeah,
Like, is
so-
that kind of like a spoiler when you're after watching the movies or
Yes and
show?
no. From what I understand,
Yeah.
because like I said, I've only read the first book.
Yep.
From what I understand, the first couple seasons stay pretty true to the books.
Okay.
And I can tell you the season 1 stays really true to the first book, pretty much.
Okay.
There might be some like tiny.
So read
changes
along
or
as you're
something.
watching the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really easy.
Yeah,
You'll have
really.
that book done in 10 hours.
Exactly.
No,
Oh,
no.
jeez.
But from like season 3 onward, they start to make some like fairly big changes. Like,
Okay.
from what I understand, like certain people that are oft in the in the show are not oft in the book, kind of thing like that. I think, and there's some like different. I think a lot of characters. I was talking to a friend about this. Some of the characters in the books are condensed into one character in the series, just to simplify it a little bit
Yep.
more for like a TV show. So there's a lot of that going on. And yeah, just like there's not as much as you can put into a show.
Yeah.
You can't put, like I said, the books are huge. You can't put a huge, story like that into 8 short 10
No.
episode seasons like
Yeah.
that without putting some things out and making some things simpler,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I enjoy the books. They are very intricate.
Oh yeah. They're really good stories about life too.
Yeah, yeah,
Just mixed in with a lot of shock and emotional pull.
yeah. And I do remember when I first listened or heard about the books and looked into them, they were like praised for the realism
Oh yeah.
of it for a fantasy book. And reading into it, it's talking about like magic and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this isn't realistic at all.
No. Yeah.
But now that I've seen the series and rereading and read the first book and everything, like I understand it's a lot more realistic with, I think, like how the characters interact
Yeah.
and the politics behind it. It is a literal like Game of Thrones. Like there's
Whoa.
so many people like fighting for that throne and everything. So the politics behind it is, at least I would imagine, is very similar
Yeah.
to like what it would be actually like if you had a similar situation in medieval times.
And it also changes your perspective of reading the book afterwards because, well, when I was younger, because I don't read books now because I watch the videos now or the movies now. But when you read it, you have the character all in your mind. You already have it casted,
Yeah.
and like Zac Efron is definitely going to be this guy. But then you go watch the movie and you're always like a little bit disappointed. You're like, that's not the person. Like that's not. Like clearly they didn't clearly read my mind. But going back into the book, do you see those characters acting as that, or do you see different people?
I'll see. I usually visualize them as the characters from the series and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily mind that, even though certain characters are different than what they're described in the books.
Yeah.
And I don't mind that necessarily. I actually went to a book reading by Dennis Lehane.
Okay, who's that?
Have you ever seen the movie Mystic River? Shutter Island.
Oh man, that got me so good. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I kind of unfortunately know a couple of the twists.
Oh.
Which is a bummer.
Yeah.
But he wrote the novels that those movies are based off
Okay.
of. And I think there's a couple other books that he's had made into movies and all.
Gotcha.
But he's like a really good crime action sort of writer, along those same lines of Elmore Leonard. And he did a book reading at college.
Yep.
And did like a little Q&A afterwards, and people were talking about, the great debate. Do you read the book first or do you watch the movie first, or does it matter?
Yep.
And he was like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, ultimately.
And it's usually like the vast majority of movies, like, they may be based off of the book.
Yeah.
but they make so many changes to it that you can watch the movie and enjoy it, and then go back and read the book and enjoy it just as much, because because of budget constraints, it's simplified, or because they didn't think the sad ending would be as good.
Oh no.
They make a happy ending on the movie, and then it's you're totally thrown for a loop at the end of a book.
Yeah, I know Stephen King's The Shining. Stanley Kubrick made the movie, but Stephen King was very unhappy because Stanley changed a lot of things and put a lot of trying to think of allusions or references to the Apollo moon landing or something in the movie that he was just like, nope, that's not what I wanted, and made his own TV version of The Shining.
Yeah. There was that movie with Will Smith, I Am Legend.
Yeah.
That was another one because...
Okay. Yeah.
That was based off of a short story by, I believe, Richard Matheson.
That sounds so... I think you're right, because I looked into that one a little bit.
But the happy ending is nothing like what the story is. And I won't spoil it for anyone who is a bookworm or anything. But it's way different than what, him sacrificing his life to get the cure out or whatever. Very different.
Yeah. It's very sweet of that ending.
Yeah.
And what about Star Wars? Have you gotten into Star Wars? Are you a Star Wars? Or you Star Trek? What's your
I grew up on Star Trek.
Oh, okay.
My brother is way into Star Wars.
Gotcha. Growing
up, and he likes it now. But I like Star Wars too.
Okay.
I'm not partial one to the other.
Yeah.
And I've been enjoying a lot of these new movies that they've
Really?
been coming out with. Yeah. There was really only one direction they could go after making the episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, which was just better.
Yeah. Anything's gonna be better than that. So.
Yeah. Jar Jar deserves an Oscar. Yeah. Hands down.
We can agree to disagree.
Okay.
On that.
Okay. Some people go Heath Ledger. I say Jar Jar should have been the Joker. Yeah. Taking on Batman.
Oh man.
A little different tone for the Dark Knight.
Little different.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I've been. I like Star Wars, and I have kind of liked the movies that have come out. I think they've been doing a good job of keeping it old school without changing too much. I think that was a big problem with the original or the new trilogy that they did, the 1 through 3.
It seemed like the technology in the first 3 was so much more than the later years.
And I understand that the CGI and everything, it's going to make things look better than they would have in the 70s or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But you don't have to change everything up.
No.
And it was just a lot of that. It felt out of place with a lot of the ships and constructions and everything. Like you said, they looked more futuristic than the original trilogy's stuff. And I think Episode 7 and Rogue One have done a much better job of sticking to that sort of thematic feel and all.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've liked those a lot.
Did you like the ending of Rogue One?
Of what?
Of Rogue One. Did you like the ending of Rogue One?
It was a little sad, but
yeah. I just wasn't satisfied a little bit. It was good. It tied up all the loose ends.
Yeah.
It made a good story, but I was just like, oh, why did they have to? We finally have a story that followed the running joke that you tell people at the end of really what doesn't happen at the end of the movies.
One thing I was I remember thinking halfway through the movie why don't we ever hear about any of these characters in the later episodes?
Because they're so cool.
But it's because they all die.
Yeah. Okay.
Spoiler. Oh,
have you ever
crap.
heard a spoiler for it though by now? That's Star Wars
that's true.
spoilers is not something that will ever hold on. That's why you have to watch Guardians of the Galaxy, because I'm sure if there
I will say, for Rogue One, I went in
good
barely knowing anything about it.
Yeah. All
I knew was that Forrest Whitaker was in it.
Oh yeah.
That was about it.
Him and his lazy eye. Yeah. It's his trademark. He needs to brand that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with your passions, along with Netflix and HBO Go, which one's your biggest? Weightlift? Oh, actually, you talked about riding earlier. I haven't asked you about riding. You dabble in riding, or have you released anything? Or
I have not released anything, but I like to write on the side.
Okay.
Mostly like fiction and some poetry.
Nice.
But yeah, I haven't really done anything with it yet. One thing I have been working on, and I want to release it, and this kind of is not in the lines with being creative so much.
I can't wait.
As much as just making fun of things. I don't know if you're aware of my Snatch 50 Everyday program.
Oh, it's killer. It's running. It's helping everyone's gains.
I really want to make an ebook on that.
Ooh.
And just make it like a bunch of this, basically draw in inspiration from the massive internet weightlifting coach, culture we have now.
Yep.
And just, even like, not everyone, and I don't fault some people for standing up for, certain training philosophies and stuff.
Yep.
But there have been like a lot of unneeded arguments about what training method is the best between this coach and that. I remember most recently, last year, it was bands and chains.
Oh, yeah.
Versus not. And, I don't use bands and chains in my training. Not usually my lifts or anything. I have used them before in squats, and I've used them in pools, actually.
And they're cool, but
yeah, I don't think the majority of your weightlifting needs to be focused on that. Yeah. And I don't think there's any one coach that's really saying like, bands is what you need 100% of the time or anything like that.
Yep.
But at the same time, like I don't really need to be out there on social media telling everyone that you see these coaches that are teaching bands and chains or this and that. Like they're full of it. You just need to not listen to them.
It's a little bit of a gimmick at this point. Yeah.
So I started the Snatch 50 Everyday program kind of as just a joke.
Yep.
But it's kind of morphed into like I really want to parody a lot of that thing. Like just have a bunch of contradictory views. I want a chapter that's about like, why you should never do high rep squats. And then the very next chapter is the benefits of a high rep squat.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
just goof around with that. And I have dabbled a little bit in like parody. Again, never released anything, but I've played around with like parodying certain things before.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of fun out of it. Just like how goofy can I be?
The Weird Al of weightlifting right here, parodying all these training programs and books.
Yeah.
And we'll drop some knowledge on you, impressiveness to you, but show you everyone else's like holes or flaws or the real behind it.
Yeah, I bar bend.
You're the biggest troll in Barbend. Yeah.
Barbend wrote an article on me basically talking about the Snatch 50 every day.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
Yeah.
And the title for it was Caine Wilkes might possibly be the biggest and strongest troll in America or something like that.
You're the one troll that no one would ever face to face be like, you're wrong.
And and it was a funny article and I shared it on Facebook. Yeah. But then to go along with the whole trolling idea, I commented on it like this is a very thorough and in-depth, honest look at my Snatch 50 Everyday program. And of course, anyone who read the article would know that it was just a joke.
Yeah.
And I had people message me asking like, what do you do for your Snatch 50 Everyday program?
They slid in your DMs for this?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like, so do you just like hit 50 and that's the end of it, or do you just make sure that you hit 50 and then like work up from there and do the rest of your workout? And
you broke some hearts, I bet.
I probably did. Yeah.
Oh man.
So I'm really excited to do that.
Then you'll actually have people message you for real about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited to do like a little parody book on that. it's one of those things that I probably should be spending more time on.
Yeah.
But, I'm also weightlifting and, doing other things.
Yeah.
Excuses.
Yeah. I'm sure Emily's out there waiting, so I'm gonna sort of wrap this up in a little bit. But I do want to talk about, since we've talked about present and past a little bit, what's your future? So we'll talk about first your future we just talked about your future with writing. So we're going to release hopefully that Snap 50 Every Day ebook, which we're standing by to get it. What's the future with your graphic design business? Have you seen any plans with this? Or
See, right now I'm probably considering, I'm pretty much focusing on just continuing what I'm doing, just doing some kind of work for some friends and clients. Not, I don't want necessarily the business to take over too much of my life because, like, as I said before, training is kind of the number one priority. Mm-hmm. Like, I can, in 10 years, I can be just as good at graphic design as I am today, if not better. But in 10 years' time, I may not be as good of a weightlifter as I am right now.
One will become like the measure scale. It'll lessen the pie chart of it all.
I really want to focus on that after I'm done competitive weightlifting. But right now I'm just kind of, it's something to do on the side and to keep, honing my skills and everything. And it's fun to do. I do want to, there are some certain avenues I'm looking at doing, getting more of my artwork out there. Yeah. So I'm trying to, one thing I haven't been pushing as much is commissioned artwork. Okay. But also I'm looking for ways to print some of my current artwork. A lot of the artwork that I have right now is either I've given to someone or I can't. Yeah. I don't want to let go of it. So I'm thinking of selling prints or posters for your gym and stuff, since a lot of them have weightlifting themes and all. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm also looking at possibly, apparel, things like that.
Yeah, I was you should definitely pair up with some of these brands out there that would be fantastic with your designs. Yeah. And your creative tastes.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea.
Yeah, I know I was thinking about reaching out to United Lifters because they're a brand and company that founded by weightlifters that I really respect and stuff like that. So I'm sure if anybody saw a limited edition Caine Wilkes shirt, it'd be awesome. Also, I got the Little League weightlifting shirt, so it was because it was so fantastic looking. Yeah, so hopefully that went to the program a little bit.
Thank you. Yeah, I did see that. That was a fun design. Yeah, I kind of was I wonder if I could draw Babe Ruth.
Oh yeah, with their copyrights. Yeah,
standing on a barbell. Although that's poor weightlifting etiquette, and I apologize to anyone who was offended.
Yeah, you have to respect. You have to respect it, dust it off.
Yeah, I took a profile picture of, it was a singlet Sunday, I think, workout or something. Yeah. And I was in my singlet after hitting some big weights, and I had someone take a picture of me with my foot on a barbell, kind of like a Captain Morgan pose. Oh yeah. And I made it my profile picture. And a couple days later, I had some random guy who follows me on Facebook message me and
direct message you, not just comment, but
just message.
Oh, okay.
And he was "Hey friend, that is bad manners," in this sort of broken English, bad manners, and you should respect the bar. Oh man, best of luck or something.
You stepped on an international flag. You really did.
I did.
Yeah. People live by that. Yeah.
So yeah, that's but yeah, as far as art goes, that's kind of what I'm looking to do is, grow it, but slowly. And, I don't want to make it, the number one priority as far as goals and everything. Just so that I can focus on weightlifting.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So what do you see your own personal weightlifting going to? Where do you see yourself?
Well, obviously the goal is always, the Olympics. So, didn't make it last year. So the goal is, of course, 2020 Tokyo. As far as my personal lifting goes, I'd like to keep pushing and try to hit those American records that Shane Hammond has. And mainly this year, this is kind of just a growing year. Yep. making sure that I get healthy again. Still got a couple nagging things and everything that I want to.
Always, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure that I'm healthy for the next, few years, and like I said, getting my head right, and also physically, getting things conditioned and all again, which I feel, like I said, last month or two, have felt much better, physically and mentally, but I'm not necessarily looking to break records this year or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it happens, oops.
Are you going to have another one of those, I didn't mean to PR 16 kilograms, but I guess I'll just take it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking to go to nationals and have a good meet,
Mm-hmm.
Make the Pan Am team, do as well as I can at Pan Ams. Fernando Race is he's a monster.
Yeah.
So again,
Yeah,
I'm
those
not
South
looking
American
to
lifters are just fast and crazy.
I'm not looking to necessarily beat him or match him or anything like that at this meet. Again, if it happens, it happens.
I'll say he's so humble right now. Then let's see what happens.
But yeah, just go to Pan Ams and have a good meet, and then go to Worlds and also have a good meet. Pan Ams are actually probably more important this year than Worlds,
Mm-hmm.
just because Pan Ams are a qualifier for Pan Am Games in 2019.
Yep.
And Worlds this year is not a huge, it's not a qualifying event for anything.
Yep.
For the Olympics or anything. But I want to basically just kind of take it, like I said, easy and all, and focus on building for next year and coming years.
Word.
So
what about the future of the sport weightlifting? Since it's been a big part of your life, you've seen it, you've grown with it, really.
Yeah.
And as you hit the peak, the exposure hit a peak.
Yeah.
So, or it's even peaking even now.
Yeah.
Where do you see it going? Within the next 5-10 years?
I see it keep growing.
Yep.
Like I said, the involvement of CrossFit has really grown the community.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen, there are some people, but I haven't seen a lot of CrossFit turned weightlifters.
Yeah, very few.
I
think it's Lauren Fisher is the only one.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of those people who come from CrossFit and get into weightlifting be extremely competitive.
Yep.
It's definitely grown our pool.
Oh yeah.
But I haven't seen a lot of that. Now, the obvious exception would be someone like Morgan King, who went to the Olympics last year.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are people that I don't know started from CrossFit or that I'm not thinking of that started from a CrossFit base. But I don't know if I don't think the exposure to CrossFit or from CrossFit has quite increased the depth.
Yep.
Except for increasing the community. And I think through that, you've gotten some depth with that, especially in some of the other weight classes like 94s and 105s right now.
Yeah.
Those are looking pretty intense as far as the 94s were more before leading up to Rio. You had Jared Fleming, Colin Burns, Norick, Kendrick Ferris. You had those four guys all around the same numbers.
It was a fight.
Yeah, and then things happen. Jared hurt himself.
Oh, that's insane.
And Norick is banned right now, from what I understand.
Oh yeah.
So
it really came down to Kendrick and Colin for a while.
So right now it's Kendrick and Colin.
Yeah.
And
Kendrick's just really smart with his points too.
Yeah.
He makes sure he go 6 for 6, get every point he can.
Yeah. So you have those two guys, and then Travis Mash is with Nathan Dameron. He's up and coming.
Yeah. 85 turned 94, and still impressive. Yeah.
He could prove to be a really a competitor in the next year or two.
Yep.
And then the 105s, there's like, I feel like there's
Well, Wes Kitts.
6 or 7 guys that are all like in that 360s, 370 range.
And who was it that just clean and jerk 212? Or a training?
D'Angelo Osorio.
Yeah, he cleaned at a competition, but he did it recently in
I
gym.
thought he did something like a 215, I think, at a local meet.
Oh, that's nasty.
And then a training PR of 212.
Yeah.
Just the other day.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's up and coming. The scary thing about D'Angelo is that I don't even think he's up to weight yet.
Oh yeah.
I
think he said he was 100. I saw him.
Yeah, leading up to like 2016, he kind of would like dabble with the 105s, but he could never like put on enough weight.
Yeah.
And like finally towards the end of it, he started to actually stay a 105. But now he's actually kind of starting to fill out the class, and I think it's working well for him.
Yeah, because I think it was like 2 years ago, or maybe no, I think it was 2 years ago. Like, remember Weightlifting Please on Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he would always made fun of him one time about not even be able to clean and jerk 200, and now look at him, he's breaking American records right here.
Yeah,
so that's crazy.
He's him or Wes, like.
Yeah, I think Wes is even moving up to supers too. I don't know yet. I've heard it. I don't know where I heard it from. Just weightlifting talk people. That's in my gym. But
yeah, I hadn't heard that. But
and he came from Grid. At least as far as I know.
Yeah, I think so. He might still do it a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a Grid athlete for a little bit, and kind of. I think he focuses on weightlifting more than he does Grid now.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Probably rightly so.
Yeah, he's just an American record holder with the snatch. No big deal.
Yeah, I think it's an exciting time for the 105s, because I think, one of those guys, either D'Angelo or Wes, could very well hit a long-standing clean and jerk record.
Well, it's weird. Every weight class, it seems like, has someone that's breaking American records. Yeah. Whether it be like, I think there was a 62 or 56 that just clean and jerk 300. I forget which one it was. I saw it briefly. Like, I think it was under MASH. MASH seems to have connections to some of these big guys. And then there's the I can't think of 62, but CJ Cummings, of course, and Alex Lee are just monsters.
Yeah. And I mean, that's one thing about the future of the sport, is that we have some ridiculous youth lifters now.
Oh yeah, we have a girl in our gym that's about to be national. Okay, I'm not saying she just totaled above last year's national record or national championship record. Whoever.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
what weight class?
53, I believe it is. Erin Collins. She's an awesome girl.
Cool.
So hopefully, I'm taking her to Matt's local camp.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, you have CJ, who of course is a superstar, and won his second Youth Worlds just recently.
Breaking a world record.
Breaking his own Youth World record. Yeah. And then you have Harrison Morris in the 77s.
That's what I was thinking.
Who basically was like, that's cool, CJ, let me do the same thing.
Yeah.
That looks like fun.
Yeah, gosh.
So he goes and wins his first Youth Worlds, and breaks the Youth World record clean and jerk, which is also, breaks the American record clean and jerk.
Yep.
There's
16. They're just getting, if they have braces, they're just getting it off, or they're probably still nervous talking to girls, or maybe not. Maybe that's probably an easy breaker, icebreaker.
I mean, if I told this to CJ once, like he went to the 2015 Worlds.
Yep.
And I think he opened. He was probably like 15 at this point, I think.
Yeah.
He opened with 123 in the snatch, and then did 27 and maybe missed 30 or 31 or something like that. I'm not remembering exactly what he did. He might have gone 3 for 3, but he opened at 123, and I told CJ, I was like, when I was 15, I clean and jerked 122 and a half.
Insane.
You just opened your snatch half a kilo higher than my best clean and jerk when I was that age.
And it's just disgusting how.
So thanks for making me feel good about myself.
Yeah. Watch out, he's coming for your numbers soon. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the main reason I'm still training, is to stay ahead of CJ and Harrison.
Yeah, you're not retiring until you outlast their career.
Until they retire.
Yeah, exactly.
but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of exciting things going on, and that's the highlight of our youth group. But there was a lot of good things that went on at Youth Worlds this past championship, and there's a lot of promising things both with our youth, with our juniors, and with currently the depth of our seniors and everything.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's something brand new to me. Like in the last 4 or 5 years, having this much depth in certain weight classes.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some weight classes that there's not as much depth, and for me, I know this just because it's my like the supers.
Yep.
It's a lot of me and then everyone else.
Yeah.
And
There's about a 30-kilo gap sometimes.
I hate saying that because it makes me sound cocky.
No.
But
I'll say
I really,
there is a gap. Yeah.
I really hope for someone to get there.
Oh yeah.
And push me some, because I mean that helps both of us.
Yes.
If someone is there pushing me,
And there's probably someone
I'm
coming
there
right
pushing
now.
them.
Yeah. You ready?
Hopefully. It doesn't look
Yeah.
like it'll be at Nationals this year.
No, yeah,
but
it's not.
hopefully, I know Cameron's still training and all, and he's looking pretty strong.
Oh yeah.
And I know his best numbers could give me a run for my money.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to Nationals. But I'd like to see him and compete with him again here soon.
That's the hardest thing about being at top and stuff. Like competing against yourself is like what we all strive kind of to do with this.
Yeah.
With the weightlifting, like PRs is like a big focus because we want to beat our personal record. But having someone else there that competes with you is just 10 times the factor.
Yeah.
Like 16 kilos becomes nothing.
Right. Yeah. And that I think one thing I've done is kind of and had to do is kind of help compete with myself.
Yep.
Think less about what everyone else is doing and think more about the numbers that I want. I kind of consider myself every time I go to a competition competing against Shane Hammond and his best numbers.
Oh, man, yeah.
So, and I think that helps push me when there's not that extra someone there already pushing you.
Yep.
Like I think that's we saw that with the 94s over the last quad. You had all those people vying for the top spot and all like wanting to break that snatch record.
Yeah.
And we saw it go from 165, which I think hadn't been touched in forever.
Yeah.
I think it was a record back from the 90s. I think Steve Goff.
Might be.
It's a Goff. I'm pretty sure it's a Goff.
Yeah, I know that
I might
name.
be getting the first name wrong.
Yeah.
But it went from 165 to now it's 173, and it was for a second, for a hot minute until Wes broke it.
Yeah.
But it was tied with the 105 record, until a couple hours later when Wes broke the 105s. But it's it's right there, and I think that's going to happen with the 105s here soon. You're probably going to see some people pushing for the clean and jerk record, which is 220 right now, and that'd be monster to see someone hitting that. That's from 97, I believe. Wes Barnett.
Yeah.
Hit that.
He went back in time. And
he went back in
came
time.
Back.
Clean and jerk 220.
Well, he's like 50, 60 years old. Instead of masters, he's still sticking with the senior group. Okay.
He did 220 in 97 and then said, I'll see y'all 20 years.
Benjamin buttoned the whole thing. Yeah. Okay. That explains a lot.
Yeah. That's how everyone breaks records.
Yeah. That should be illegal. There has to be a Benjamin Button rule. Put that in the amendments, guys.
So yeah, I think weightlifting overall, like just the lifters and the depth and everything, I'm very excited for it.
Yeah.
I think there's still going to be some growing pains as far as like the national governing body. Like, I think we took some steps in the right direction last quad. I think Phil Andrews being CEO is a great option. I mean, he's one of the hardest workers I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've never heard this much communication before.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But I mean, there's going to be growing pains. I feel like, I still feel like some things could be better communicated.
Yep.
And whether that be, communicated earlier or maybe not like a last second email, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. National meets will be cleaned up a little bit too.
Say what?
National meets will be cleaned up a little bit too.
Yeah. I think, again, lots of steps in the right direction.
Yeah.
With 2013 nationals. First nationals I won. It was in a roller skating rink.
Hey.
Which,
disco ball overhead while you're like throwing it up.
Not quite. I wish.
Oh, okay, that'd be pretty intense. PRs, just get it going.
But it happened that I think they had another venue planned.
Yeah.
But that venue decided to go with another sport or event, and we ended up last minute change to that place. But after that, USA Weightlifting got a lot more involved with events, and you've had a lot better in venues and competitions because of that. But like, with the growth of the sport, you kind of have those growing pains of, so many people are qualifying for meets now.
Yeah.
Like, and you kind of want to, how do we want to do this? Do we want to, bump up the qualifying totals to where only, so many from each weight class is making it? Or do we want to just make it a bigger meet?
Yep.
And that's, they did that a lot, like the American Open in 2015.
Oh, it was hard to get in for some people.
950 some
It still was
odd.
a lot, yeah.
And they had 4 platforms going at once.
Man, it's crazy. It was a madhouse in the back room too. Trying to switch everyone out and then all the new people come in. Like this past year, it took me 2 years ago, I didn't come to this last one, but 2 years ago at the American Open, I didn't get in there until 15 minutes after, or 10 minutes after we started. And so I had 5 minutes to warm up and get on the stage, come back, hit lift, and then I'm on the platform. I was on the lower end of the weight class that time.
Yeah, and what weight class were you?
77. I'm taking my time off, and now I'm eating and enjoying 85 a little bit. Yeah.
But the 77s I think had all the way down to an H session that year.
Oh yeah.
And the 85s had a J session.
Yeah.
That was unreal.
Yeah, it was pretty much all the same weight class for everyone. Yeah, there's a lot of the lifters there.
And then
then 62 or 56, there's 10 people, 5 people.
Yeah.
Because not many people populate that.
And then the funny thing, the 105 pluses were the same.
Oh yeah.
10 to 15 people that always qualify.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was and you kind of want to be nationals. That's kind of the best of the best. So how do we narrow it down to the best of the best? And I'd like to see that one, and it hasn't been quite doing this lately. Yep. It's never quite as big as the American Open, but I'd like to see the nationals be a one platform event, where again just the best of the best. You have no more than a B session for any one class.
Kind of needs to be that way.
And things run smoothly. Again, it's supposed to be a showcase, and it's not supposed to be. You probably don't need the top, 50 of of each class or anything.
Most likely, shouldn't be your first national meet. It should take some time.
Yeah.
So there's those freaks though, but.
With the American Open Series, I think that's a great way to get people involved. I think I haven't looked into this too much, but I think they dropped qualifying totals a little bit.
Yeah.
So that more people and newer people could get involved, and having them more throughout the year, I think they have 3.
Yeah, there's 3 open. There's 3 open series. Southeast is in Miami. They just had one over the West Coast. I think they might have
Reno.
one. Reno, yeah, that's right.
And they're actually holding these in conjunction with other big meets. Pan Am's is actually going to be run or held along with the AO series in Miami.
So I don't have to worry about those big good lifters being at the American Open.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the last AO series will be in Anaheim.
That's right.
And that's held in conjunction with Worlds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We lucked out. We got a lot of international meets this year here.
For real. And I think the sport's kind of getting a lot more, or USA is getting a lot more international recognition about what we bring in.
I think so. Especially, again, with our youth lifters breaking records and winning championships. It's very promising.
Oh man, yeah.
And like, long as I mean, if CJ can stay healthy into like becoming an actual senior,
Yeah.
I'd be really scared to see what he can do.
He's gonna be a freak. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like in a few years he probably won't stay a 69 for the rest of his life.
That's what. Yeah.
But and I doubt Harrison Morris would stay a 77 his whole life. But yeah, I mean they're both 16, 17.
Yeah. They're just entering puberty.
Yeah. They're gonna fill out and everything, and it's gonna be crazy to see what they could do. In their early mid-20s.
Yeah.
Or even later. If they keep healthy and everything.
Oh yeah.
Which they look.
They're moving pretty well.
They move pretty well.
CJ's worked on a lot on snatch and stuff like that. He used to have a big hop back, and he's cleaned it up.
I won't lie. Sometimes his jerk makes me kind of cringe.
But he gets it up there.
I can't complain.
Yeah.
He's a world champion.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people in the world stage international stage that have like extreme arm bend or something like that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with early arm bend to some extent, but just things that you would conventionally not teach anybody. Right? Like it's just specifically for that lifter when it works.
Yeah, definitely.
One thing I also hope with weightlifting is that, which kind of what I want to do with what I'm kind of doing with this is bring more story and bring more personality to the lifters and stuff like that. Because I hear a lot from like spectators, like my girlfriend, my parents, and stuff like that. The only time they're interested is for like the 60 seconds, 1 minute that I'm on the on the platform, and after that they're like, I don't know this person, I haven't heard of this person. Like they're lifting big weights and stuff like that, and I can't really rationalize that because they're like looking at kilos, and that's also a little break right there. And so hopefully, I think something like this, like stories, or maybe if ESPN starts picking us up a little bit, like. Yeah. Because I don't know, I know a little bit about football. I have like my Steelers and stuff like that. But as far as the Super Bowl, I don't know many players and stuff like that. But when like Cam Newton, you hear all about the cool stuff he does. He's out there giving footballs to kids, even though he's like getting fined for it. Like that was a big story, and like you supported Cam Newton. So if you watch the football, you supported Cam Newton. Maybe not the Panthers, maybe not the whole NFL, but watch that. So maybe we can get more people supporting Caine Wilkes or CJ and stuff like that out there.
That'd be cool.
And let's see, so we talked about future of Quiet Guy, your writing, weightlifting. Now, future of Marvel. Let's tie it back to the beginning. What's one film or one character or what's something you're really looking forward to?
Oh man, I probably need to keep up with better with what they're coming out with.
Yeah.
I am looking. I mean, I know Marvel has like their 3 phases or whatever.
Yep.
And it's gonna lead into like basically Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
I would like to see. I would like to see how that all ends up.
Yeah.
That kind of how everything is connected and everything, and wraps up into that. With that said, I'm also kind of interested in seeing what they do from there.
Yeah.
How do they continue the mark? Because they're obviously going to want to keep making these. It's a money maker.
Oh yeah.
And people are enjoying it more than like. It's not like a Transformers where it just they keep making movies but people are like, stop.
I was about to say, are people watching that anymore? No offense. Like I love the first one. I'm a big Shia LaBeouf fan. I still like him. I don't know about his personal side, but I love his movies and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't even know. I can't believe I always get told like, oh, there's another one coming out or something like that.
Yeah, I think I don't know when it is, but I'm pretty sure there is a new one.
Yeah.
And the 4th one, like Mark Wahlberg.
Oh yeah,
I watched it on a flight, and it was like it's like twice as long as it should be. Oh. It's like nearly 3 hours long.
Oh.
Which the other ones you can make that argument, but at least they're like normal movie length.
Yeah.
Like they're hour and a half to 2 hours.
You're discovering a whole new world. This world's already been created. You're not really learning anything new.
Yeah, and it's just I like fell asleep, I think, in the middle of the movie.
Yep.
And woke up, and I didn't miss much. Like,
yeah.
I was able to pick up right where I left off.
Okay, they're robots in disguise. Yeah. I get that.
So yeah, I'd like to, as far as Marvel goes, I'd like to see how it wraps up and everything. I mean, I'm really excited to see how that whole arc of a story completes. But I'm also like I'm kind of bummed that the Hulk has never had like a super good
Oh, yeah.
individual movie.
I think they just totally disregard that Hulk movie. That
Yeah,
happened
they
at the
do.
beginning for Iron Man. They're just like, that didn't happen.
That didn't-
Yeah, that wasn't canon.
But the
And like for Team Captain and Team Hulk or Team Cap and Team Iron Man, Hulk hasn't picked a side yet. So
that's true.
yeah, what team are you with? Team Cap or Team Iron Man?
I would probably be. I'd probably be Team Cap. I would say.
Word, yeah,
Yeah.
America.
America.
Yeah, I get told I look like him, so I have to support him. That and James Vanderbeek, so I got to support those guys. Dawson Creek. Yeah, I get it a
I
little
am
bit.
pro Dawson's Creek.
Yeah, this whole thing was just about trying to revive Dawson Creek. Yeah,
Right.
Did you actually watch that growing up?
Not growing up.
Oh, okay.
But reruns over the summer.
Gotcha.
So I think it was TBS would have like reruns in the morning of Saved by the
Yep.
Bell
Yep,
for
I
like
get-
an hour.
Yep.
And then it had an hour of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yep.
And then immediately after that, I'd have an episode of Dawson's Creek. So like when I was just like chilling, eating breakfast, doing nothing, that's pretty much how I would spend my morning. And,
Oh yeah.
you know, whenever I got up until Dawson's Creek was over, basically.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I guess I got to go to school now. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah. Now, Cord, my younger brother, he was homeschooled. So he could literally like watch all of that all the time.
And then plus Price is Right.
Plus Price is
Yeah.
Right. And he, so I'm pretty sure he's watched the entire Dawson's Creek series.
Oh, okay.
Probably multiple times at this
So
point.
he knows all the life lessons.
He does.
Yeah, that was Degrassi before Degrassi. That was my generation's show.
But yeah, he, yeah. How did we get
Ben
from
Savage.
Dawson's Creek?
Fred Savage is watching Dawson's Creek.
Yes, Fred Savage
Okay.
is watching James
And
Vanderbeek.
if you follow Smooth Lifter or Smooth 105 Lifter, I think
Yes.
that's his name now because he moved up.
No, Smooth 105 Proof.
Proof. Yeah.
Yeah.
Word. Follow that.
Someone made
You'll see
the
it.
joke that that Smooth 105 sounds like a
Yeah.
drink, so he called it Proof.
Yeah.
Now I think Smooth 105 Proof sounds more like a slow jazz station,
Hey.
like Smooth 105 The Proof. So you see that
With
You
the
can see that.
dragon.
Yeah.
With the yeah.
You're here with the dragon.
Yeah. I don't think kids this generation understand what radio sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no DJs. There's Pandora.
Sorry, that might be a
Yeah.
little.
That's a throwback.
Did I just age myself?
Yeah, no, you're right. we talked about Dawson's Creek and Saved by the Bell. Yeah, I don't think anything. That's awesome. Well, I've had a wonderful time. I appreciate you sitting down and
thanks.
talk with me.
Yeah,
and
thanks for
hopefully I
taking
get
the
to could talk to you in the future and hear about all the other stuff like after nationals and what
Yeah.
you've been doing with Pan Ams and all that. So
Definitely, yeah.
also moving to Colorado. One quick question. I'm moving to Colorado soon.
Oh, okay.
And there was the Olympic Training Center out there and stuff like that. Any advice for a lifter moving to Colorado? I heard it's a different altitude.
Yeah,
Different
as the altitude.
Yeah.
Altitude.
The altitude.
Yeah.
Altitude.
It didn't bother me much. Like
Yeah.
I'd have like one day where I'd be like really, out of breath or something, and then I'd be okay.
Yeah.
And I've also heard like coming from, like I lived in Chesapeake, Virginia, which, being here on the East Coast, it gets humid.
Yep.
But here in Charlotte, it doesn't get as humid as it does, by the beach.
Oh yeah.
Just in the same way that like Chesapeake isn't as bad as Florida.
Yep.
Um,
You just called Florida bad?
well,
I'm just kidding.
humid.
Yeah, I was kidding. Yeah.
But with that humidity and that thick air,
Yeah.
I've heard that helps a lot with the elevation.
Okay.
Because I had a member of our gym up there.
Okay.
He went and did like I think he did like a run or some hiking there, and he said it actually like he felt pretty good. Like it didn't affect him as much.
Okay.
So being here on the East Coast with the humidity and stuff,
Yep.
you may have just that one day.
Yep. Just to acclimate
Yeah,
myself.
it just usually takes like a day or two to acclimate yourself.
Okay. Word.
If it does take you a while longer to do that, I would just say, take it easy. Make
Yeah.
sure you don't kill yourself or
Yeah.
anything.
don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Thank you again. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we got to get you with Emily because I'm sure she's she's ready to go.
Yeah. Hopefully she saved me a beer.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Awesome, guys. Thank you again so much for sitting down and listening to this. We appreciate every minute you gave us. Also, be sure to check out the other interviews that I have with Colton Beasley. He is released on the same day as Caine's. And stay tuned to hear about Matt Bergeron, Coach Caine Wilkes, and Jason Windley. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much, and have a wonderful day. Peace.